Chapter 42:12. Yes, that's right. If you know what's good for you, get over here and kowtow. Otherwise, you'll end up in a miserable state. Two great demons walked over. These two great demons were both minor saints. Their auras were extremely powerful. Everyone was waiting for a good show. They didn't know how this kid was going to deal with them. Lin Xian didn't make a move. Instead, he looked at Yusiki and said indifferently, "You should know what happens to those who provoke me." Hearing this, Yusiki didn't say anything. She waved her hand and two terrifying laws flew out, killing the two great demons. The two great demons' eyes widened. Their souls were directly torn apart. What? Looking at the scene of the two great demons being killed, the surrounding people were stunned. It was actually Yusiki who did it. Damn it! Who exactly was this person? The faces of the people from the Thousand Demon City also changed. Did the Joyous Union Palace want to become enemies with the Thousand Demon City? Nine-headed Qilin's face was also extremely cold. Was the other party slapping his face? Very well. Seems like I've been in seclusion for too long. No one knows my name. Since that's the case, I don't mind showing my strength. He walked forward, and terrifying laws appeared on his body. A low roar of a Qilin sounded, accompanied by the hissing of a nine-headed sky snake. With two bloodlines, nine-headed Qilin could be said to be extremely powerful. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked at the other party. Oh, you want to fight me? I advise you not to do so. Otherwise, you'll end up in a miserable state. This guy actually dared to threaten nine-headed Qilin. The surrounding people went crazy. One had to know that nine-headed Qilin was a peak minor saint. With his bloodline talent, he was probably invincible below Saint Venerables. He could even fight against saints. Who was this kid in front of them? They checked carefully, but they didn't find anything. In their opinion, the other party was at most a minor saint. Even if they were in the same realm, could he defeat nine-headed Qilin? Nine-headed Qilin's face sank after hearing this. Reckless kid. I'll let you know what regret is later. Come out. I'll give you a chance to fight. You're here too. Just as Lin Xian was about to come out, a voice rang out between heaven and earth. Everyone turned their heads. In the next moment, they began to discuss. Nine-headed Qilin's pupils constricted as well. He saw a man in a blue robe walk out. This person's aura was very special. Who was this person? Many people were puzzled. However, they didn't dare to be careless. After all, the aura emitted by the other party was very terrifying. It was even scarier than the nine-headed Qilin's aura. This was definitely a top-notch expert. Nine-headed Qilin's face turned serious. Others might not know, but he knew that this person was called Guan Songhai. He was a top-notch expert from the Azure Ocean Palace. Who would have thought that the other party would actually come here? So it was an expert from the Azure Ocean Palace. Nine-headed Qilin asked in a deep voice. However, Guan Songhai didn't care at all. Instead, he looked at Lin Xian. I knew you would definitely come, he said with a smile. Lin Xian smiled as well. Long time no see, brother Songhai. The two of them smiled and greeted him. The surrounding people were all stunned. Nine-headed Qilin's face turned cold. Damn it, he was being ignored. He was a heavenly beast, a top-notch sky pride. Who would dare to ignore him? But now these two despicable fellows actually treated him like air. Damn it, he couldn't take it. Kid, you're too arrogant. I'll kill you myself. Nine-headed Qilin roared. Hearing this, Guan Songhai frowned. What's going on? Is this kid going to attack you? A cold light flashed in his eyes. It's nothing. He's just an arrogant guy who thinks that he has more lives than others. I'm going to take his life. Lin Xian said indifferently as if he didn't care about nine-headed Qilin at all. Hearing this, the surrounding people exclaimed. This guy wants to take nine-headed Qilin's life? Where did he get his confidence from? Could he really be an expert? Nine-headed Qilin's face turned ugly. To be honest, he knew that Guan Songhai was very powerful. He might even be stronger than him. If Guan Songhai was friends with someone like him, he wouldn't be a weakling. He must be a top-notch sky pride. However, he was truly unable to tolerate being ignored and looked down upon by others. So, even if this person was a genius, he had to fight him. Brother Sword Maniac, are you really going to fight him? Our opponents are people like Wang Jiani and Chao Tiansheng. I'm afraid he's not qualified to be our opponent. Hearing this, the crowd was stunned again. Nine-headed Kylan wasn't qualified? To be honest, this was like a dream. Nine-headed Kylan was a top-notch expert in the eyes of the crowd. He was even qualified to be listed on the Pilgrim's Roll. Indeed, some people thought that nine-headed Kylan was no weaker than Lin Xian. Speaking of Lin Xian, the crowd shook their heads inside. If this guy was still alive, he would have shone brightly this time. Well, he was too arrogant, so he was killed by the Sacred Master. Next was nine-headed Kylan, their world. But now nine-headed Kylan was being ignored. Damn it! Nine-headed Kylan was trembling in anger. He fixed his cold gaze on Lin Xian. Damned brat, do you dare to give me a fight? Sure, although you're not qualified to be my opponent, I've been bored recently. I'll use you as a warm-up. Lin Xian nodded his head indifferently. Guan Songhai glanced at nine-headed Kylan and said, I advise the Demon City to take nine-headed Kylan away. Otherwise you'll regret it. The people of Demon City gritted their teeth and said coldly, they didn't need the Songhai Pavilion to worry about this matter. We have our own judgment. To be honest, they had unlimited confidence in nine-headed Kylan. Nine-headed Kylan had just received help from the Kylan clan. His bloodline had improved again, and his strength had increased by leaps and bounds. It wouldn't be a problem for him to fight a nameless genius. Kid, make your move. I'll let you know what regret is. Nine-headed Kylan's face was extremely cold. Lin Xian glanced at him and said indifferently, I advise you to make the first move. Because if I make the first move, you might be killed instantly. Nine-headed Kylan snorted and didn't say anything. Instead, he kept forming seals with his palms, and a terrifying aura spread out from his body. Then, it turned into a terrifying palm and slapped forward. The palm wasn't big, but the law on it was extremely terrifying. Many of the geniuses in the surroundings held their breaths as they felt a shocking power. If they were hit by it, they would be smashed into pieces. The surrounding people gasped. They knew that nine-headed Kylan was really angry. He wanted to kill Lin Xian with his ultimate technique. Lin Xian sneered. He didn't care about the incoming palm at all. When it got close, he used the law of wind and left instantly. This attack hit his afterimage, and a pair of green wings appeared on his back, carrying him through the air at high speed. Trying to dodge? You can't dodge at all. He applied to become cold again. Myriad Beast's palm. His palm slapped out again, and each attack was accompanied by a terrifying demonic aura. It was the ultimate technique of Demon City. When he used it, it was extremely powerful. Facing the countless demonic beasts that covered the sky, Lin Xian didn't dodge at all. Instead, he raised his palm. His palms formed seals, and the roar of a dragon could be heard. Chapter 42:13. Azure Dragon Seal. Carrying the imprint, he blasted forward. The world in front of him collapsed instantly. The myriad beast fist was destroyed. Bang! Ninehead's Chilan's arms fell to his sides. His body cracked open, and he was sent flying while vomiting blood. Boom! After crashing through a dozen mountain ranges, he finally stopped. Dust filled the air, and the laws danced in the air. The spectators were stunned. They widened their eyes in disbelief. What did they just see? Ninehead's Chilan was defeated with just one palm. Heavens, how is this possible? Who is this person? How is he so strong? That's Ninehead's Chilan. Now that his strength had increased greatly, he could be famous in the world. However, he couldn't even withstand a single blow from Lin Fan. Is this your strength? You're so weak that it's pitiful. You're not even qualified for me to warm up. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. No. In the ruins in the distance, Ninehead's Chilan stood up. His body was stained with blood. His handsome face had become extremely ferocious. This is impossible. I don't believe it. Who are you? He roared crazily. He couldn't believe that a nameless person was so powerful. He was so powerful. Lin Xian said, You're not qualified to know my name. How are you going to beg for mercy now? Are you going to appease my anger? Damn it. I won't beg for mercy. I was careless just now. Ninehead's Chilan roared again. The phantom of a Chilan and a nine-headed sky snake appeared on his body. He held the sky snake sword and the Chilan saber with both hands. The murderous intent on his body was incomparable. He brandished the saber and the sword. The terrifying saber light and sword shadows slashed forward. The void shattered again. Retreat quickly. The surrounding people retreated frantically. This attack could even destroy the soul of a peak minor saint. Lin Xian sneered. He struck out the azure dragon seal again. A loud dragon roar sounded. The phantom of an azure dragon appeared and danced in the air with his palm. It tore the saber light and sword shadows apart. Bang! Nine Heads Qilin was sent flying again. In the next moment he was stepped on by someone. Lin Xian looked down at him. Do you really think you're qualified to compete with me? He felt like he was going crazy. He never thought that he would be trampled under someone's feet. Damn it, only Lin Xian had given him such a feeling back then. However, Lin Xian was already dead. He had no enemies left. Why was he defeated by a nameless person? Damn brat, take your foot off and let go of our ninth young master. The greater demons of the myriad demon city roared madly. Damn it, let go of me. Nine-headed Qilin snorted coldly. He was extremely unhappy. He would definitely investigate this matter when he returned. Who was this person? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. Let you go? You really are naive. Do you really think that you can fight whenever you want and leave whenever you want? This is not the Thousand Demon City. It is not your territory. No one has to listen to your orders. At this point, Lin Xian stomped his foot and blasted the nine-headed Qilin's body into pieces. The ground was also split into two. Demon blood splattered everywhere. Everyone was stunned. What did he do? Did he attack directly? Heavens, is he going to become enemies with the Thousand Demon City? Is he going to fight to the death? Ah! The nine-headed Qilin's soul let out a tragic cry. The Qilin and nine-headed sky snake's phantom roared madly. However, such a threat had no effect on Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The killing intent in his eyes pierced through everything. He grabbed the nine-headed Qilin's soul with one hand. I've said it before. Anyone who attacks me will have to suffer my wrath. Lin Xian waved his hand and destroyed the other party's soul. No. The people of the Thousand Demon City went crazy. The nine-headed Qilin was killed on the spot. It was too unbelievable. Damn it, they sent out a signal for help. I have to let them know that the experts of the Thousand Demon City are here. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to fight back. Lin Xian's expression was cold. He naturally wouldn't go easy on them. Firstly, the nine-headed Qilin didn't know what was good for him. Secondly, it was time for revenge. When they came out of the Gourd world, they were hunted down by the three great sage kings. Among them was the flying sage king of the Thousand Demon City. Therefore, Lin Xian would definitely not go easy on the Thousand Demon City. I know you're not completely dead. You should still have a few lives left. But that's about it. You'd better pray that you don't meet me again. Otherwise, it'll take your other lives. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He waved his embroidered robe and turned to leave. The surrounding people were all stunned. They opened up a path for him. They didn't dare to fight back. After Lin Xian and Guan Songhai left, the people of the Thousand Demon City rushed forward crazily. Ninth Young Master and the others surrounded him. The nine-headed Qilin's bloodline exploded. His broken body healed again. Even his destroyed soul reappeared. Then he was reborn. He roared at the sky as if he had gone crazy. Damn it! Although he had 9 lives, he had already lost many of them before. He was only left with 4. Now that another one had been killed, he was only left with 3 lives. The Sage Dao debate. It was so dangerous. Having more lives than others was his biggest trump card. But now his trump card was disappearing quickly. When he was left with only 1 life, he would no longer have any advantage. At this moment, the terrifying aura of a sage sovereign descended from the sky. The 3 great sage sovereigns appeared. They swept through the surroundings. Who dares to attack the people of the Thousand Demon City? The surrounding people were trembling in fear. Of course, most of them had cold faces. They were all disciples of the Sage City. They had status and weren't afraid of the Thousand Demon City. The 3 great demons of the Thousand Demon City didn't make things difficult for the others. Instead, they searched for the person who attacked. But they didn't find anything. Damn it. He better not let me see him. Otherwise, it'll destroy his soul. The people of the Thousand Demon City were so angry that they vomited blood. But they could only leave. They would be embarrassed if they stayed. The news spread quickly. A nameless expert killed the 9-headed Qilin in one move. It was shocking. What was even more shocking was that Guan Songhai was familiar with the other party. It seemed that it was another top expert. As expected of the Sage Dao debate, some of the hidden experts in the past would appear now. Everyone was looking forward to what would happen next. On the other side, Lin Xian and Guan Songhai had also left. Yu Shiqie was also with them. Lin Xian looked at Yu Shiqie and asked about Qin Xianer. Yu Shiqie wouldn't lie, but she still shook her head and said that she didn't know. Senior sister Qin hasn't returned for a long time. We don't know where she is. Lin Xian frowned. She hasn't returned? Then she should still be in the Green Hill world. Thinking about it, with the fortune she obtained, she shouldn't be in too much danger. He didn't know if she had become a sage sovereign. In the next few days, more and more experts arrived. Every aura was incomparably powerful. The heavenly wind world became lively again. Chapter 42:14. Thunder and lightning danced in the sky, as if the thunder god had descended, piercing through heaven and earth. Everyone knew that the people from Thunder God City had arrived. On the other side, sword chi swept across, as if it had turned into a world, descending from the sky. Countless sword saints carried long swords on their backs, their expressions cold. Their arrival terrified countless people. The 10,000 Swords Pavilion had arrived. The people from the Ghost Hellland had arrived, and so had the New Moon clan. The arrival of Bai Luo and Gao Yu caused countless people to exclaim. The two of them had already reached the small saint realm, and it seemed like their future achievements were limitless. The two of them. One was like a witch, while the other was like a fairy. The two of them fought together, and they were the center of attention. Who would have thought that there would be such fairies among the humans? At this moment, a laugh was heard, followed by a sword light. The surrounding people thought that the people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion had arrived, and were shocked. However, they soon discovered that it was not the case. The person who had arrived had a horn on his head, and the scales on his body were shining. There were 5 purple sword shadows behind his back, and they were made of scales. What was this? The other party's aura was so strong. This was the people from the dragons. Exclamations sounded one after another. They did not expect that the dragons would also come, and that a powerful dragon king had arrived. The person who had arrived was indeed Jianxing. When he saw Gao Yu and Bai Luo, the corners of his mouth rose. I wonder if the two fairies could give me face and have a meal together. Damn, the surrounding people's eyes were all red. You actually dared to invite the two of them together. Guan Songhai also shook his head. The people from the sword dragons were really arrogant. They simply did not leave any hope for the humans. Lin Xian chuckled. Could it be that Brother Songhai was interested as well? You can actually go and invite them. Guan Songhai shook his head. Forget it. Gao Yu and Bai Luo also frowned. Gao Yu said, another day. I'm a bit tired today, and I don't want to rest. Unfortunately, I happen to have time today, so why don't we do it now? Jianxing did not back down. After all, he was an expert from the dragons. He had confidence and pride. Why would he change because of a few words from the other party? Don't go too far. How about the people from the Ghost Hellland and the New Moon clan? Many people walked up. Jianxing laughed. So what if I go too far? Speaking up to here, the 5 sword shadows behind him released an unparalleled aura, causing those people to be terrified by the pressure. The Ghost Land and New Moon Songhai, and the people from the New Moon clan were all shocked, and their faces became pale. So terrifying. Was this the power of a top-notch genius from Dragon Ball? Perhaps only a handful of people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion could compete with him in terms of swordsmanship. Jianxing said with a smile, fairies please. Bai Luo's face was pale, and Gao Yu was also frowning. It seemed that a great battle was unavoidable. The two of them looked at each other and came to a decision. The laws emanating from their bodies also spread out. When Jianxing saw this scene, he laughed. Oh, the two fairies want to spar with me. Then you two. At this point, the aura on his body exploded once again. It was obvious that he had not used his full strength before. Seeing that a battle was about to break out, the crowd shook their heads. Even though Bai Luo and Gao Yu were both blessed by the heavens and possessed great strength and talent, they didn't dare to offend the heavens. But they were too young. They couldn't compete with an expert like Jian Xing. Even if they worked together, they would still be defeated. Gao Yu and the others were too dazzling. But this time, they were discussing the Tao. Regardless of age, all the experts would come. So the two of them weren't the best here. Being suppressed by Jian Xing made their hearts heavy. At this time, Lin Xian spoke again. He said coldly, "Enough. Don't mess around here. Leave quickly." Everyone was stunned. Who would dare to meddle in other people's business at this time? They all forgot about it. Jian Xing frowned. Meddling in his business? Did they have a death wish? He snorted. Sword and tint erupted from his body. "I want to see who it is." Before he finished speaking, he saw Lin Xian. In the next moment, he was stunned. His expression was uglier than crying. "Why are you here?" he asked cautiously. "Get lost." Lin Xian frowned again. Jian Xing didn't say anything else. He turned into a ray of light and left. Everyone was stunned. Oh my God, what's going on? He was a sword expert from Dragon Ball. His strength was unparalleled. No one present could suppress him. But now he ran away because of someone's words. Who was this person? They all turned their heads. Some people were puzzled. He was so unfamiliar. They didn't know him at all. However, there were a few people who exclaimed, "It was him." They had seen it before. Naturally, they recognized Lin Xian from the battle with Hydra Jin. But they didn't expect him to be so strong. He scared away the dragons with just one sentence. Now they were very curious. Who was this person? Were they saved? Bai Luo and Gao Yu heaved a sigh of relief. The two of them looked ahead. They were equally puzzled. Who was this person? Why did he save them? Could it be that he had other ideas? The two of them were very nervous. Lin Xian's gaze was calm. He nodded slightly at the two of them. Then he retracted his gaze. Bai Luo and Gao Yu were stunned. The other party's performance made them feel disappointed. Could it be that they weren't worthy of his attention? Guan Songhai was also surprised. "I'm getting more and more interested in you. Could it be that you are related to the dragons?" He was indeed surprised. He had also heard of the Sword Star. The dragon race was definitely arrogant and unruly. Furthermore, they were very powerful. Even he couldn't scare them away with just one sentence. But Lin Xian did it. This made him feel very surprised. Lin Xian said, "I've seen that guy before. He's probably scared of me after I beat him up last time. Alright, let's go. He hasn't become a sacred venerate. He's not worthy of our attention." Guan Songhai nodded. He had also broken through to become a sacred venerate. So his opponents could only be people of the same level. They didn't care about other geniuses. The next few days, it became more and more lively. More experts arrived. However, on this day, a shocking piece of news spread. It turned out that another battle had broken out. Moreover, it was the Great Desolate Mansion. It was said that the Great Desolate Mansion had lost a few geniuses. They were furious. Many experts were heading over. Who could be so powerful? Everyone was shocked. It was too unbelievable. Could they be the legendary peerless experts? No, it was a woman. She was the previous holy maiden of the spirit tribe. When he heard this news, Lin Xian was also stunned. Could it be that they were going to find Qiu-Er? He had forgotten that the dark red divine dragon and Morong Qingqing might know that he wasn't dead. However, Shen Jingqiu didn't know. He guessed that Shen Jingqiu was helping him take revenge. Hence he hurried over. In front of a huge waterfall, 6 figures surrounded a woman. Chapter 42:15. The 6 people from the Great Desolation Mansion executed the Desolation summoning technique and summoned 4 figures each. The 24 summoned figures and the 6 saints of the Great Desolation Mansion formed an inescapable net. At this moment, many people started to worry. Shen Jingqiu must be here to avenge Lin Xian. Unfortunately, she couldn't fight against the Great Desolate Mansion alone. Someone sighed. Yes, it was a pity that such a fairy had fallen. But what could they do about it? Facing the might of the Great Desolate Mansion, no one dared to make a move. Shen Jingqiu, you don't know what's good for you. How dare you go against the Great Desolate Mansion? That brat is already dead. Why don't you pledge allegiance to the great desolate mansion? The 6 of them revealed sinister smiles. Along with a cold shout, the 24 figures behind them quickly moved. A terrifying desolate aura filled the 9 heavens. Umph. Shin Jinqia's expression was cold as a terrifying aura emerged from her body. Terrifying laws flew out along with her palm. The laws condensed into a sword light that shot towards the 24 figures. Wherever the sword light passed, the void began to crack. It's useless. You're no match for us. The 6 of them were extremely confident. A great battle broke out in an instant. Before long, the desolate aura completely shrouded Shin Jingqiu. She should be suppressed. Everyone shook their heads and sighed when they saw this. Lin Xian arrived at this moment. When he saw this, a cold killing intent surfaced in his eyes. However, he didn't make a move because he sensed with his lightning god's eye that Shin Jingqiu was protected by an extremely terrifying law. She wasn't hurt. What kind of changes had Shin Jingqiu gone through? Lin Xian was shocked. Ever since he returned from the heavenly fate planet, he realized that he couldn't see through Shin Jingqiu. Now he was even more puzzled. The power in her body shocked even him. Everything was over. The 6 silhouettes walked forward. However, at this moment, 9 rays of light slashed down from the sky, accompanied by the phantom of a phoenix. The cry of the phoenix resounded through the 9 heavens. Immediately, the 6 people were forced to retreat. 3 of them coughed up blood, and their bodies shattered. Damn it, who dares to meddle in our business? They were truly enraged. There was someone who was so reckless and dared to go against the great desolate mansion at the very last moment. The surrounding people also exclaimed in surprise. In the next moment, their eyes widened. Another fairy-like figure had descended. The other party was dressed in white, as if he had ascended to immortality. Furthermore, there was a phoenix phantom on his body. Could it be that someone from the Phoenix clan had come? Countless people were shocked. The people of the great desolate mansion frowned as well. However, they soon discovered that it wasn't the case. It was Morong Qingcheng. She was the saintess of the Kunlun Pavilion. She had actually come. She was probably here to avenge Lin Xian. This Lin Wudi really made people envious. Indeed, countless people's eyes turned red. However, there were also people who sneered. So what? No matter how good he was, he had already been killed. The 6 people of the great desolate mansion turned gloomy. I was wondering who it was. So it was you. Morong Qingcheng. Do you want to go against the great desolate mansion as well? You better think about the consequences. These people gritted their teeth. Morong Qingcheng floated down from the sky and said coldly, "So what if I go against you? If you dare to lay your hands on Brother Xian, I will kill every single person from the great desolate mansion." After saying that, she slowly formed a seal with her palm. A terrifying aura was emitted from the seal. Kunlun palm. Morong Qingcheng then waved her palm and pressed it down from the sky. It was like the palm of an ancient deity with mysterious runes of the great Tao. How terrifying! What kind of power was this? This should be the ultimate technique of the Kunlun Pavilion. Many people let out terrified screams. Damn it, how dare you underestimate us? The 3 sages of the great desolate mansion roared in anger. They all performed their ultimate techniques and divine abilities. The aura of desolation spread out between heaven and earth, causing the entire place to become desolate. Boom, boom. The 2 attacks collided, causing heaven and earth to shatter. Everyone felt as though they were in a destructive torrent. Boom, boom, boom. That feeling only lasted for a moment. In the next moment, the aura of desolation was torn apart by a palm. The 3 sages of the great desolate mansion were instantly turned into blood mist. What? She killed them with a single palm. Moreover, she killed 3 pinnacle existences. This Morong Qingcheng was too terrifying. Many people were shocked. The other 3 sages also had ugly expressions. Damn it! They roared. However, at this moment, they retreated again with blood flowing from the corners of their mouths. This was because Shen Shuqiu, who was being suppressed by the 24 sages, suddenly unleashed his power. The 24 sages were instantly sent flying, turning into an aura of desolation that spread between heaven and earth. A cosmic form of the heavens and earth appeared behind Shin Jingqiu. It was extremely mysterious and had a desolate aura. It stood between heaven and earth. When she attacked, she shattered the 24 sages of desolation. She attacked again, and killed the other 3 pinnacle existences. In an instant, the people of the great desolate mansion were all killed. Qiu, are you alright? Morong Qingqing looked at Shenjingqiu with a worried expression. Shenjingqiu shook her head. Sister Qingqing, I'm fine. These people from the great desolate mansion can't hurt me. This scene was truly too shocking. They never would have thought that these 2 goddess-like figures would actually possess such strength. Are they courting death? There's only one outcome for going against the great desolate mansion. A cold voice came from within the bloody mist. Then, more figures appeared in the distance. Obviously, the people of the great desolate mansion had come to help. Moreover, these people immediately used the summoning of desolation the moment they arrived. In an instant, they summoned nearly 5 times the number of people. 10 sages of the great desolate mansion summoned 50 phantoms. A total of 60 phantoms surrounded Morong Qingqing and Shenjingqiu. This situation was much more dangerous than before. It's over. This time, it's really dangerous. The spectators retreated as they shook their heads and sighed. Morong Qingqing looked at this scene and asked, Qiu, are you afraid? Shenjingqiu shook her head. They're no match for me. Today I'm going to take revenge for brother Lin Xian. Their ethereal voices resounded between heaven and earth. Lin Xian was touched when he saw this. He wouldn't let the 2 of them take the risk. Therefore he asked, Brother Songhai, are you going to watch the show or are you going to join me? A terrifying murderous aura surged from Lin Xian's body. He was like a sleeping dragon that was quickly awakening. Guan Songhai was shocked. Are you going to join the fight? Difficult. Do you know those 2 goddesses? Or are you related to Lin Wudi? Me? I just can't stand the great desolate mansion bullying me. Therefore, I'm going to get rid of them. Chapter 42:16. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms and slapped out the azure dragon seal. In an instant, several azure dragon phantoms charged into the crowd of the great desolate mansion along with the seal. A loud explosion was heard. 9 figures were instantly sent flying. Ah! Miserable screams were heard, and the surrounding people were stunned. Someone actually dared to attack. Who was it? The people of the great desolate mansion roared in anger. Courting death. Kill. They unleashed the power of the heavens and terrifying desolation laws spread out as they fought. Haha, I'm coming too. Guan Songhai laughed. The power of the sea surged and swept across the 9 heavens, turning the entire world into an ocean. They felt a strong binding force that sealed them and made them unable to move. Morong Qingqing, Shenjingqiu, and the others quickly attacked and the 4 of them fought. The 60 phantoms of the great desolate mansion were running around. They should have had the upper hand, but they were defeated by the 4 of them. Oh my heavens, who are these 2? They're too terrifying. I know that one. He's a top sky pride of the Azure Sea Pavilion, but I don't know about the other one. It seems that his Tao of Dragons aura is terrifying. Could he be a member of the Dragon Clan? Damn it, many of them charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian waved his palms. Every palm strike was accompanied by the power of the Azure Dragon. Moreover, Lin Xian also executed the dragon breathing technique, making the Azure Dragon phantom seem to come alive. Boom. Boom. A single palm strike was enough to destroy a top sage of the great desolate mansion. 9 people were killed under 9 palms. Blood mist spread out between heaven and earth. It was terrifying. What kind of power was this? One should know that those who could come here were not ordinary sages. They were all elites among elites. Yet none of them had any power to fight back in the hands of Lin Xian. It was truly shocking. Morong Qingqing and Shenjingqiu were also stunned. However, they smiled when they saw Lin Xian blinking his eyes. Its elder brother Xian, Morong Qingqing exclaimed. She knew that Lin Xian wasn't dead, so she recognized him immediately. Shenjingqiu was stunned. However, after Morong Qingqing's voice transmission, she understood. She heaved a sigh of relief. Great big brother Lin Xian didn't die. However, she also knew that since she had changed her appearance and concealed her aura, she did not want others to discover her identity. So she didn't recognize him right away. Instead, he attacked even more fiercely. The cosmic form behind her was like the fairy of the 9 heavens, powerful to the extreme. Every move carried the supreme great Tao. Murong Qingqing turned into a phoenix and swept through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The people of the Great Desolation Mansion had gone mad. They had gained an absolute advantage, and were even able to suppress and seal the 2 of them. However, he did not expect that there would be people who dared to come to his rescue. Moreover, these 2 people were extremely powerful, especially the person who struck out with the Azure Dragon seal. It made them vomit blood. The other party's attacks were too violent. Every move could kill a powerful sage on their side. Damn it, let's kill this kid first. They felt that Lin Xian was the biggest threat. Therefore, they were prepared to attack Lin Xian first. However, it was useless. Those people couldn't even get close to Lin Xian before they were sent flying by the Azure Dragon palm. Damn it, all of you back off. Let me do it. Just then, a man roared and walked out. He was wearing the Desolate War armor. His palms were forming seals continuously. The Desolate War aura quickly spread out and formed a giant Desolate War aura. This was also an ultimate mystique. When the Desolate War god appeared, the pressure of the heaven and earth followed. The surrounding experts and geniuses couldn't breathe. This was too strong. He could even fight against it, right? As expected of the Tao debate, there weren't any weaklings here. After that person summoned the Desolate War god, he revealed a cold expression. Kid, I'll let you know what regret is today. The terrifying Desolate War god quickly attacked. That palm slapped down, bringing with it an extremely powerful pressure as the raging waves crashed onto the shore. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He attacked with the Azure Dragon 9 palms. 9 consecutive attacks. The 9 dragons seemed to come to life under the dragon's breathing technique. They fused to form a giant dragon. The divine dragon swung its tail and collided with the Desolate War god. Boom. The laws and mystiques of the 2 clashed in the heaven and earth, creating a destructive storm. Under the horrified gaze of the crowd, the Desolate War god's palm shattered. Then it turned into the Desolate War aura. The great Huangfu's expert also trembled and retreated. Blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Impossible. The surrounding people exclaimed. They couldn't believe it. The Desolate War god was already able to resist the attack of a sacred venerable. But he still couldn't defeat the other party? Could it be that this kid was a sacred venerable? Senior brother, let us help you. The young geniuses also rushed over. It seemed that they wanted to join forces to kill Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked up to the sky and laughed. Are you a bunch of ants? He swung his fist and attacked with the Tiger Demon Fist. A terrifying whistling sound rumbled between heaven and earth. This was an even more violent and destructive fist technique. The dozens of figures that approached him were all blown up. Sacred blood floated between heaven and earth. No, retreat quickly. The man roared crazily. However, Lin Xian held the Azure Dragon seal again and attacked him. With a single strike, that person's body was blasted into pieces. Quite a few people roared. Were their senior brothers killed by someone? Buzz. A soul flew out from the broken body. Damned brat, I won't let you off. The Great Desolate Mansion will definitely kill you. He flew into the distance. However, Lin Xian sneered. He raised his hand and a sword light flew out. It was the sword controlling technique of the sword dragons. It carried the aura of the great dragon sword soul that could destroy everything. It directly destroyed the other party's soul. The man screamed miserably. In the end, his body and soul were destroyed. Everyone was stunned. This person was too strong. He was definitely a top genius. At the same time, they were amazed. Other than Lin Xian, Guan Songhai and the others were also extraordinary. As expected of the Tao debate, the geniuses who came here were too dazzling. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As for the people of the Great Desolate Mansion, their faces were filled with despair. Damn it, who the hell are you? Some of them stared at Guan Songhai. We don't have any grudges with the Songhai Pavilion. Guan Songhai sneered. We don't have any grudges. However, since my brother wants to attack you, I can only help him. If you don't like it, you can start a war with us. Hearing this, the people of the Great Desolate Mansion snorted. What a joke. Previously, because of Lin Xian, they had already started a war with Peerless City. In the end, they suffered heavy losses. Many worlds were destroyed by Peerless City. If they were to start a war with the Songhai Pavilion, their losses would be even greater. Therefore, unless they had no other choice, they would not start a war with the Sacred City. However, the other party was too much. So what if they bullied you? Lin Xian held the Songhai Dragon Seal and attacked with both hands. He directly killed the three figures. Then an extremely cold killing intent erupted from his eyes. Great desolate mansion, none of you are allowed to leave today. Now these people knew that they had gone too far. When the three great sage kings were chasing after him, did they think that they had gone too far? Right now he was merely giving him a taste of his own medicine. This time, he would let the great desolate mansion know what pain was. Chapter 42:17. Indeed, under Lin Xian's powerful attack, the people from the great desolate mansion were instantly crushed. The desolate figures that were summoned were also killed mercilessly. Eventually, only one person was left. This person was covered in injuries. He screamed in horror, "Come and save me! How dare you attack the people from the great desolate mansion? No one will be spared today." A terrifying killing intent spread out from the heavens and earth. When the surrounding people felt it, they immediately widened their eyes. A sacred sovereign. A true sacred sovereign had descended. Indeed, a huge hand descended from the sky and charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A pair of gale wings appeared on his back. He used the laws of wind to increase his speed to the extreme. He dodged instantly. In the next moment he looked ahead. The void shattered, and a figure wrapped in a boundless aura of desolation walked out from the void. It was a middle-aged man. The aura from his body was very powerful. He was at the beginning stages of the sacred sovereign realm. It's over. That kid is dead. Yes, no matter how strong he is, he can't fight against a true sacred sovereign. Murong Qingcheng, Shen Jingqiu and the rest frowned. The sacred sovereign that appeared in front sneered. "Go to hell." A desolate heaven seal flew over and enveloped Lin Xian. With a boom, the place turned into nothingness. The sacred sovereign sneered. "A mere ant dares to fight against me? You overestimate yourself." Was he killed? The surrounding people were shocked. The difference was too great. Yes, it was difficult for anyone below the sacred sovereign realm to fight against a sacred sovereign, unless they had a heaven-defying sacred weapon. This kid was too arrogant. He deserved to die. Now that I've taken care of one of you, I won't let the three of you go. The sacred sovereign's gaze was fixed on Murong Qingcheng and the rest. However, at this moment, a voice sounded. "You're just a so-so. You're too weak. Did you not eat?" What? He didn't die? The surrounding people were stunned when they heard the voice. They all turned their heads to look. They saw a figure walk out from the shattered void. Lin Xian's body was surrounded by laws. He was unscathed. How was this possible? Countless people were shocked. Was the other party not injured? What kind of physique was this? That was an attack from a saint venerable. Sure enough, the holy venerate's expression sank. "You are not injured. It seems like you have a saint artifact on you to defend yourself. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant in front of me." In his opinion, it was absolutely impossible for the other party to survive with his own strength. He must have a treasure in his hands. Is that so? Just because I can block your attack, does that mean I have a treasure? And you being able to kill me is your true strength? You really think too highly of yourself. I wonder if you'll still think the same way when I kill you later. Do you really think you can kill me? The saint sneered. You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Now go to hell. His figure flashed, and the desolate aura behind him turned into a stream of light, carrying him towards Lin Xian. Previously, it was just a casual attack from him, which was why his opponent was able to survive. Now he was going to unleash his full power. So what if his opponent had a saint artifact? He could still kill him. Looking at the holy venerate's fist, Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He waited until the holy venerate was near him before he attacked. Similarly, he threw out a punch. The first move of the Tiger Demon Fist, Army Destroyer. This punch was filled with boundless baleful aura, as if it was going to destroy everything. Although his opponent was a true Saint Venerable, so what? Lin Xian was not afraid of the holy venerate. Boom. You are courting death. Go to hell. Seeing that Lin Xian did not dodge and still dared to fight back, the Holy Venerate was filled with disdain. He was confident that he could defeat Lin Xian with this move. However, when his fist collided with Lin Xian's fist, he regretted it. That was because he could feel an unparalleled power surging toward him. Even with his strength and physique, he could not withstand it. Boom! With a deep sound, the Holy Venerate was pushed back. He shattered the void and his arm hung down. Several cracks had appeared on his palm. He was at a disadvantage in a contest of physique when he used all his strength to fight against Lin Xian. This was something that he could not imagine. The rest of the people were shocked. Oh my God! What kind of physique does this kid have? Why do I feel that he is going to defy the heavens? Exclamations and discussions could be heard. When Morong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu saw the scene, they smiled. The corners of his mouth raised into a smile. They knew that Lin Xian would not be defeated. Guan Songhai, who was at the side, was also shocked. He could feel that Lin Xian had not become a true saint venerable. However, Lin Xian's current strength was not any weaker than the Holy Venerate. This really surprised him. One should know that although Lin Xian was only one step away from becoming a Holy Venerate, the difference in strength was like heaven and earth. As I said, you are no match for me. Lin Xian said indifferently. Despicable kid. Don't be so arrogant. The Holy Venerate roared and spat out a pagoda. There was a terrifying great Tao on the pagoda. Obviously, this was his sacred artifact. Lin Xian glanced at it but did not care. To deal with me, you used your sacred artifact. I can only say that you are too trashy as a Holy Venerate. I feel that you are wasting resources by living. So go to hell. The terrifying law of wind appeared on Lin Xian's body. At the same time, the law of lightning spread out. As the wind and lightning clashed, he turned into an extremely fast lightning and charged out instantly. You are courting death. The pagoda above his head took out a treasure saber and swept it in all directions. At the same time, his broken arm quickly healed. He used all kinds of divine skills to fight with his opponent. However, the more he fought, the more shocked he became. This was because he realized that whether it was his divine skills or sacred artifacts, Lin Xian could take them all with his bare hands. Furthermore, he did not get injured. The strength of Lin Xian's physique was beyond his imagination. On the 13th move, he was punched through, and his arm was blown off. In the 15th move, the pagoda above his head was sent flying by the Azure Dragon seal. Then his entire body was split in half. Oh my God, the people around us are all dumbfounded. What did they see? A young genius was actually beating up a Holy Venerate. What kind of scene was this? The last surviving Holy Venerate of the Great Desolate Mansion thought that he was saved. He even thought that he could kill his enemy. However, he was now in despair. The expert in his eyes, a dignified Holy Venerate, was actually unable to fight back. In the end, the Holy Venerate actually escaped. Seeing that the Holy Venerate had escaped, Lin Xian snorted. He waved his hand and countless sword chi flew out. Sword controlling array. Hearing this, the Holy Venerate's soul that had escaped felt his scalp explode. This was because he felt spatial fluctuations coming from all directions. A biting cold aura appeared. The boundless sword chi completely sealed the space he was in. The biting cold law of wind controlling array made the world tremble. No. The Holy Venerate's soul tried his best to dodge. Chapter 42:18. Is he dead? A bona fide Holy Venerate was directly killed by someone. The surrounding people were flabbergasted. What kind of heaven-defying combat strength was this? Who would have thought that such a terrifying genius would appear before the Heavenly Tao discussion? They wondered which power this person belonged to. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the Azure Dragon Phantom enveloped the few of them. Then he tore open the void and disappeared. The spectators knew that a huge commotion was about to happen. The Great Desolate Manor would definitely not let this matter rest. Indeed, the Great Desolate Manor's 6th Dao Sage descended and began to sweep through the crowd. However, the 6th Dao Sage had already disappeared. They could only grit their teeth and snort. It would be best if they did not meet them during the Heavenly Tao discussion. Otherwise, they would let them know what regret and despair was. In an instant, the news spread and shocked the entire Heavenly Wind world. On the other side, Lin Xian left with the few of them. He sent a message to Murong Qingqing and Shenjingqiu. When there was no one around at night, they would meet again. Night fell. Lin Xian left behind a clone, and then his real body used the void escape to leave. Lin Xian flew over according to the address that Murong Qingqing and the others left. He saw Murong Qingqing and Shenjingqiu waiting for him. Lin Xian, big brother. Shenjingqiu's eyes turned red instantly. Murong Qingqing also said, I was scared to death. Lin Xian said, don't worry. Even without the great sage pagoda, I have the ability to protect myself. Let's go in. The three of them entered the palace, and Lin Xian set up a formation. In the next few days, Lin Xian stayed with the two of them, waiting for the heavenly Tao discussion to begin. On this day, the entire sky was lit up. Countless terrifying auras descended, and everyone in every corner of the world stood up. Their expressions were solemn because they knew that a sage king had arrived. This was a supreme aura that only a sage king could emit. Phantoms of 9 beasts roared in the sky. They were all ancient beasts and were extremely powerful. They were pulling a war chariot, breaking through the clouds and slowly flying over. A terrifying aura shrouded the world, causing everyone to tremble. A figure walked out of the war chariot. The demonic aura around him was even more terrifying. It was as if he was an ancient beast that had awakened. It was the Sage King of the myriad demons. After the soaring sky Saint King arrived, he looked down on the world and accepted the worship of countless people. However, at this moment, a dozen great demons appeared in the void and knelt down on one knee. Now he only had 3 lives left. Damn it, a bunch of trash. So many of you can't even protect one person? The greater demons below were trembling. No one could stop the Sage King's anger. They could only kneel and beg for mercy. Sage King, please spare our lives. But that kid was too strange. We were careless and failed to protect him. Who was it? Sage King Fei asked coldly. Could it be that a Sage King had made a move? If that was the case, he didn't mind killing the kid personally. He wanted to let the kid know what it was like to bully the weak. However, the beast said that it was a young man who hadn't reached the Sage King level. His name was Sword Maniac. Not a Sage King, but a young one. Sage King Fei's face darkened. He had no excuse to make a move now. He couldn't interfere with the fight between the younger generation. If he interfered, he would be breaking the rules. Damn it. He really deserved to die. Where did this genius come from? How could he be so strange? He had to investigate this matter. Of course it was here. He couldn't say it. Instead, he waved his hand and said, "Get in here." Those beasts brought the 9 Shilants into the war chariot. Then the 9 beasts roared. They quickly tore through the void and flew into the distance. I think Sage King Fei will vomit blood from anger. That's for sure. The genius under him could be incomparably dazzling, but he suffered such a loss as soon as he came. His heart will probably bleed. Do you think Sage King Fei will make a move? That's impossible. That kid looks very young. A fight between the younger generation doesn't need a Sage King to personally make a move. That's not necessarily true. Don't forget how Lin Wudi was killed. Indeed, many people fell silent when they heard that. Lin Wudi was such a dazzling, peerless genius. He would definitely become a Sage King in the future. He might even become a great god. Such a person didn't die in the fight between the younger generation, but was killed by a Sage King. It was really regrettable. Someone said, "Stop talking. Do you want to die? Don't forget who the host is this time." That was the Acheron Palace. If they hear us talking about Lin Xian, all of us will be killed. These people's faces instantly turned pale, and they didn't dare to say anything. Not long after Sage King Fei Tian arrived, thunder rumbled between heaven and earth. The Sage King of Thunder God City also arrived. The great Tao of Thunder God City carried a majestic figure as he walked over. He was called Sage King Wanlei. His strength was terrifying, and he had the power to destroy heaven and earth. After Sage King Wanlei arrived, he gathered the sages of Thunder God. Then he occupied a position in the world. Then, Endless Sword Chi fell, and a figure that looked like a sword god appeared. There were 2 ancient swords on his back, emitting a biting cold light. With a light wave, he could split a world. The Sage King of Myriad Swords Pavilion, the Divine Ghost Sword King. It was said that his sword technique had unfathomable power. Other than that, the sage kings of Great Desolate Mansion, Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion, and Limitless Sect also arrived. Sage King Wuxia also came. He had delicate features like a 16 or 17-year-old youth. However, the Sage King aura on his body was not to be underestimated. Not only did he come, but he also brought a large number of experts and geniuses from Wuxia City. These Sage Kings all found a position in the world. They dominated a region. Some of the top clans also came, such as the Azure Dragons and Winged Dragons. Although they were not the Sacred City, their strength and foundation were not inferior to the Sacred City. The surrounding people were shocked. These were the super forces and Sage Kings. It was rare to see one on a normal day, but now they were seeing so many Sage Kings. It was truly a sight that was hard to come by in 1,000 years. The people from Acheron Hall are not here yet, right? Someone said. What's there to panic about? They are the last ones to arrive. Sure enough, after waiting for a long time, countless Acheron diagrams appeared. Then, one after another, Acheron figures appeared. The one standing in the center was the Silver Corpse Sage King. His aura made everyone's scalp tingle, as if their lives were about to be taken away. When Lin Xian saw this figure, he also frowned. A cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. It was the other party who almost killed him with a palm strike. There would be a day when he would personally avenge this grudge. Chapter 42:19. Following that, more families and holy cities arrived. The Joyous Union Palace's prestige also arrived. She was called the Closed Moon Sage King. Not only did she come, but she also brought a few people with her. Xian'er was among them. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that. It seemed like Xian'er wasn't in any danger. However, he was puzzled as he didn't see anyone from the Green Hill Ninetails race participating in the battle. As for the reason behind it, he didn't know. After waiting for another 3 days, the Silver Corpse Sage King stood up when he saw that no one had arrived. He said in a clear voice, welcoming everyone to the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. This is a grand event in the second astral world. Your names will be recorded in the Holy Hall in the future. This is an unparalleled honor. Therefore, you must give it your all in this Holy Heavens Tao discussion. Don't let down the Holy City's expectations of you. Many people clenched their fists when they heard that. This was an opportunity. If they could stand until the end, they would be able to obtain an unparalleled opportunity. They might be able to leave the second astral world and head to the legendary Holy Lands. Their future achievements might even surpass the Holy City. When they thought of that, they felt a surge of excitement. Alright, let's not talk anymore. I now announce the start of the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. A loud voice exploded between heaven and earth as the Silver Corpse Sage King formed a hand seal and pressed it against the void. The entire sky shattered and the earth shook. Everyone exclaimed as they didn't know what was happening. However, when they saw the Sage King's calm expressions, they calmed down. Even if there was any danger, the Sage Kings could sweep through everything. The entire heavenly wind world was enveloped by a terrifying law. Everyone discovered that changes had occurred in the ground. One arena after another had appeared. These were all arenas that had been passed down from the ancient times, or even further back. They were able to withstand the attacks of sacred sovereigns, and were specially prepared for the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. Everyone realized that some of the stages had dark red marks on them. Those were the blood that flowed from the battles of the geniuses in the past. Even after countless years, the blood hadn't changed. From this, one could imagine how powerful those people who had fought back then were. There were many stages and they were very wide. They covered the entire land. At the same time, the rules of the Holy Heavens Tao discussion were spread. There were 3 stages. In the first stage, the participants would be separated into different stages based on their cultivation. So they fought. Everyone had 3 chances to be defeated. After 3 times, they would be eliminated. Both sides of the battle also used the form of a challenge. There was no need to worry that no one would make a move. After all, everyone wanted to make a name for themselves in such a rare event. Moreover, he would have the opportunity to engrave his name on the Holy Hall. This was a supreme honor. Therefore, the battle would definitely be very intense. The competition was divided into 3 different areas. The first region was for those under 2,000 years old, and the second region was for those between 2,000 and 5,000 years old. The third area was for those over 5,000 years old. This time it wasn't based on cultivation but age. However, no matter how strong a person under 2,000 years old was, he would only be an early-stage holy venerate. Hence, everyone felt more at ease. That way, they would not encounter those middle-stage holy venerables, or even those late-stage holy venerables. As for those old monsters, they all had their own battlefields where they could exchange blows. As for the second stage, no one knew yet. What they needed to do was to try their best to earn points in the first round, so that they could get a higher ranking. He wanted to make himself even more dazzling. The Holy Heavens Tao discussion did not allow Holy Kings to appear. In other words, Holy Kings and Holy Kings' weapons were not allowed to appear. Anyone who violated the rules would be disqualified. There was another point. In the arena, life and death did not matter. Only victory and defeat were determined. In other words, the battle would not only be intense, but a large number of experts and geniuses would also be killed. Although it was very cruel, the world of cultivation was like that. Everyone who reached the peak had to go through the baptism of blood and slaughter to be able to stand out. After learning about the situation, everyone took a deep breath. Although the path ahead of them was very dangerous, no one retreated. Instead, they all clenched their fists. This time, they would definitely make a name for themselves in the starry sky. As the rules of the competition and the ancient arena appeared, everyone started to panic. Everyone took a deep breath. The Silver Corpse Holy King also announced the start of the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. As his voice fell, figures flew out one after another from different parts of the world. They landed on the arena respectively. On the Lightning God City's side, a woman bathed in lightning appeared. She held an ice and lightning sword in her hand that exuded a destructive aura. From the looks of it, she was a genius. On the Demon City's side, a man walked out. Flames danced around his body. He seemed to be a powerful genius of the vermilion bird race. On the Myriad Sword Pavilion's side, a terrifying sword venerate descended upon them. Terrifying sword chi swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The other sacred cities and powerful families had also sent people to assist them. Every one of them was extremely powerful. If they were in the outside world, they would be able to sweep through an entire world. But now, they were all gathered together to fight for the peak. Around the heavenly wind world, there were 4 small worlds that were filled with people. They came from all over the second astral world to watch the battle. There were also some people who came to watch the battle in the starry sky. When these people saw the terrifying figures standing in the arena below, they immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. Previously, they were extremely dissatisfied that they could not enter. But now they understood. With their strength, they did not have the qualifications to enter. They could only watch from outside. Even Lin Xian saw Qin Xianer and Murong Qingqing walking out. It seemed that these sacred cities were all planning to use their strength in the first battle to tell the world how powerful they were. A man walked out from the Wushuang city's side. He was also extremely terrifying. But it was not Ling Hu Chuexue or Fu Hongye. It was another stranger. But it seemed like he was also a top expert. On the Acheron Palace's side, they also sent sacred venerables to fight. This time, they naturally could not be defeated in the Tao discussion. Therefore, the people they sent for the first round were extremely powerful. On the other hand, the Great Desolate Mansion had their own strategy. They decided to hide part of their strength and send out some of their core strength. It was rare to send out a peerless expert in the later stages. But although he was the core strength, he was still a peak small saint. He was not far from becoming a sacred venerable. Basically, all the arenas were filled with people, waiting for others to challenge them. Soon, people flew up to challenge the arenas. When Lin Xian saw this, the corner of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Very well, it was time to reap the rewards. Demon City, Acheron Palace, Great Desolate Mansion. These were the 3 holy cities that had hunted him. He would not let any of them go. Chapter 42:20. Huang Emo stood on the stage with a smile on his face. He felt that his chance had come. This time, he must show his strength to the world. Although he wasn't a saint venerable, and was only at the peak of the minor saint realm. He was confident that no one in the same realm as him was his match. As long as he didn't encounter a true Saint Venerable, he was confident of winning. Buzz asterisk, who's going to challenge me? His gaze rarely traveled in all directions. Suddenly, he saw a figure transform into a gust of wind and arrive at the arena. Oh, someone's coming. Huang Mo squinted his eyes and looked forward. The opponent should be using the law of wind. His speed was pretty good, which made him a little interested. He carefully probed but didn't find the aura of a Saint Venerable from the opponent. Huang Mo heaved a sigh of relief. Great, this opponent's strength is at most on par with mine. That means I'm not afraid at all. Brat, tell me your name because you only have one chance to speak. Huang Mo said indifferently. Oh, is that so? The youth opposite him laughed. All right, listen carefully. My name is Sword Maniac. Sword Maniac? I think you're an idiot. Huang Mo sneered. You dare to challenge me? I'll kill you in one move. He sneered and slapped his palm forward. Countless law filled his palm. It was the law of wildfire. It carried a terrifying flame aura and slapped forward. Buzz asterisk, a pair of dark golden wings appeared behind Lin Xian's back and spread out. It turned into a storm. This was the secret technique he obtained from the winged dragons. It allowed him to move at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, he used the imperial sword technique of the sword dragons. A sword light slashed across. The two of them exchanged blows in a flash and stood in the air with their backs facing each other. Lin Xian immediately put away the nomological laws on his body and walked out of the ring. The spectators were stunned. What's going on? Is the battle over? The people of the Great Desolate Mansion sneered. This kid must know that he's not a match for senior brother Huang Mo. He's going to admit defeat obediently. That's for sure. Who dares to go against the Great Desolate Mansion? They looked up and laughed. However, they were soon stunned. The reason for that was because they discovered that Huang Mo's body had fallen to the ground. Blood was flowing from his body and dyeing the entire stage red. What? He was injured. That's impossible. The people of the Great Desolate Mansion widened their eyes and screamed in horror. What just happened? Why didn't they see it clearly? The elders and experts of the Great Desolate Mansion frowned as they carefully examined the situation. In the next moment, their expressions turned extremely ugly. This was because they realized that there was no longer any life in the desert. 3 figures descended from the sky. They were the 3 judges. There were 3 referees in each arena. The 3 referees were chosen randomly from different holy cities and families. This would prevent anyone from cheating. They went up to take a look, then shook their heads and said that he had been killed. The Sword Maniac won the battle. Hearing this, the people of the Great Desolate Mansion were completely stunned. The other people were also in an uproar. Heavens, this Sword Maniac was actually an expert. Moreover, to be able to kill a peak minor saint with a single strike, what was his cultivation base? Could it be that he was already a Saint Venerable? I don't know. I can't sense his aura. How mysterious. Everyone exclaimed. The faces of the people of the Great Desolate Mansion turned ugly. To be honest, although they didn't send a Saint Venerable, they were very confident in Huang Mo. Moreover, there wouldn't be too many experts in the beginning. In this way, their chances of winning would be very high. However, they didn't expect that the Sword Maniac would be killed in the first battle. This was a provocation. He jumped up and stepped on their faces. Damn it, the people of the Great Desolate Mansion were clenching their teeth so hard that they almost broke. The Great Desolate Heaven King's face turned gloomy. After all, the battle had just begun and the reputation of the Holy City was very important. Now the opponent had embarrassed him. He said loudly, "Don't think that this is a joke. This is a very formal battle. Those who are able to participate in this battle are all top experts and experts. There were even some hidden and secretly cultivated people who would appear. Therefore, you can't afford to be careless here. Huang Mo's death is a good lesson. Do you all understand?" Yes. The people of the Great Desolate Mansion quickly lowered their heads and remembered the Great Desolate Heaven King's teachings. We will treat this battle seriously and not make any mistakes. At the same time, they raised their heads and started to look for Lin Xian. They would remember this grudge. However, They realized that Lin Xian had already disappeared into the crowd. Damn it, he actually let that brat escape. It doesn't matter. He will definitely take action again. When the time comes, we will lock onto him and find someone to kill him when he goes up. He was targeted by the great desolate mansion again. However, Lin Xian didn't care. This time he was here for revenge. He would never let go of these great sage cities. So what if he was targeted? He went into the crowd and started to look around the arena. He realized that Murong Qingqing, Qin Xiener, and the rest had already won their first battle. Then, some of them walked down the arena, while others continued to challenge. He looked at the peerless city's side and realized that the first unfamiliar man had also won. Then Fu Hongya also started to fight. Other than that, he also noticed some top experts. For example, Wang Jiani and Chao Tiansheng had also successfully broken through to the Saint Venerable realm. He had to admit that these people's strength, talent, and opportunities were very strong. Other than that, there were also some young rising stars. Lin Xian only took a glance at them and didn't pay any more attention to them. These people weren't a threat to him. The ones who were a threat were the disciples of the previous generation, such as Huang Shisan of the Great Desolate Mansion. Back then, he was someone who competed with Fu Hongya. Lin Xian wasn't sure how strong he was now. Lin Xian's eye technique was powerful, so he could overlook the entire battlefield to observe. However, he was suddenly stunned. At the same time, there was a cry of surprise from a distant battlefield. Countless people looked over. Look, that's Fu Hongya. He actually met an opponent. Everyone was stunned. Fu Hongya was the chief disciple of the second generation of the Peerless City. At the same time, he was also a genius on the pilgrim list of the previous generation. He was very strong. Logically speaking, he should be able to kill his opponent easily. However, this time, his opponent was extremely terrifying. He was actually able to threaten Fu Hongya. Lin Xian also frowned. Who was this person? He discovered that this person did not use the Holy City's unique lost skill. That was to say, the other party might not be from the Holy City. Of course, there was also another possibility. This was originally a secret expert nurtured by the Holy City. It was just that at this moment, in order to hide his identity, he displayed some other lost skills. The strength of this person's law was extremely terrifying. It shrouded the entire arena. Fu Hongya was actually suppressed. However, fortunately, after 50 moves, Fu Hongya suddenly erupted with power and injured the other party. That person directly left the arena and disappeared. Took the initiative to forfeit? Everyone was surprised. This was equivalent to a failure. There were only a total of 3 chances to fail. Such an expert easily admitted defeat. It was really too much of a pity. However, the powerhouses on the Peerless City's side frowned. Damn it! Immediately retreating after failing to hit and hiding his strength. This was clearly a hunter. Chapter 42-21. The Holy Heavens Tao discussion was rarely held. However, it wasn't the first time that some of the elders had participated in it. Naturally, they had seen such things in the past. Every sacred city had some experts who were secretly nurtured. They were usually hidden, but they would take them out at critical moments. For example, the hidden experts would hide their identities and attack the other geniuses of the Holy City. Although it wasn't honorable, it was used by many holy cities. They didn't expect someone to target Wushuang City. Who was it? The elders' faces turned cold. They immediately thought of the 3 great sage cities. They were the Thousand Demons City, Acheron Hall, and the Great Baron Mansion. After all, Wushuang City had previously fought with the 3 great sage cities. The relationship between the 2 sides was like fire and water. However, they couldn't rule out the possibility that it was another holy city. They had to be more careful in the future. On the other side, Lin Xian's face turned cold when he saw the situation. Damn it, it seemed like someone was targeting Wushuang City. Since that was the case, they couldn't blame him for being ruthless. He looked around. Suddenly, he noticed that one of the arenas was empty and a figure went up. The person's cold aura was terrifying. It was obvious that he was an expert from the Acheron Hall. Moreover, he was a holy venerate. Many people didn't dare to challenge him. Very well. Lin Xian's eyes flashed coldly. Let's start with this holy venerate. His body flashed and he flew towards the arena. Lung Pao smiled when he got up. With his strength, ordinary people wouldn't dare to challenge him. However, he didn't expect a figure to appear in front of him. He wondered which holy city's expert was from. Lung Pao looked forward. However, he was stunned. He didn't sense any terrifying holy venerate aura from the other party. Could it be that this person isn't a holy venerate? He couldn't believe it. Is this person courting death? Naturally, the spectators also felt this scene and immediately exclaimed in surprise. Heavens, could it be that this brat wanted to court death? Does he think that he can challenge a holy venerate? Exclamations could be heard. Indeed, it was possible for geniuses to challenge those of a higher cultivation level. However, the people here were all geniuses. They were all stronger than those of the same level. It was very difficult to challenge those of a higher level. This was especially so when the other party was a holy venerate. Leaping levels to fight a holy venerate was simply impossible. Kid, if you obediently kneel on the ground and kowtow to me and admit defeat, I'll let you live. Otherwise, you will die a horrible death. Lung Robe's cold voice rang out. In his opinion, he felt that it was beneath him to be an opponent. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. How arrogant. How could a mere holy venerate be so arrogant in front of me? You look very young. You must be one of the geniuses of the previous generation. If I kill you, I wonder what kind of expression the Acheron Palace will have. Do you really think you can kill me? Lung Pao was stunned. Then he sneered disdainfully. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. At this point, an extremely terrifying aura appeared on his body. Endless cold laws condensed into a blade of light, which he held in his hand. The aura emanating from it froze the entire space. Gloomy slash. The black blade of light slashed down, streaking across the void. This blade was abnormally strange. Wherever it passed, black frost would condense. What a terrifying aura. This was the gloomy slash. Many people exclaimed. Under this blade, a holy venerate would not be able to resist at all. It's over. That kid will probably be killed instantly. Puff. As expected, this blade enveloped Lin Xian's body and froze Lin Xian's body. Soon after, the frozen body split into two. Instant kill in one move. The surrounding people exclaimed when they saw this scene. Lung Pao also laughed. He did not know what was good for him. The people from the Acheron Palace snorted coldly. In their opinion, unless a powerful holy venerate came, it would be impossible to defeat Lung Pao. However, at this moment the situation changed. Lung Pao shouted angrily. He didn't know when, but many more lightning chains had appeared on his body, trapping him. The aura of thunder and lightning from it made his body numb. How could someone attack him? Who was it? The others were also surprised. Someone exclaimed. Look, there was a figure behind Lung Pao. They looked carefully and saw a figure slowly appearing. He was holding the Law of Thunder in his hand, trapping his opponent. That kid didn't die? How could it be? Could it be that the one that was killed was just a clone? They were really shocked. Lung Pao's pupils constricted. Damn it, the gloomy slash. Many black runes appeared on his body and froze in all directions. Those thunder runes kept exploding, shattering the ice. At the same time, Lin Xian sneered. He used the Azure Dragon Seal and slapped Lung Pao's back, sending him flying. Boom, boom, boom. Half of Lung Pao's body exploded, and blood mist filled the air. It was extremely miserable. Everyone was going crazy. Heavens, what did they just see? A young minor saint actually injured a holy venerate. Oh my god, it can't be. Who is this kid? Damn it. The people from the Acheron Palace frowned when they saw this scene. What was Lung Pao doing? How could he be at a disadvantage in the hands of a minor saint? Lung Pao's expression was ferocious. He knew that he had been careless. The kid in front of him was much stronger than he had imagined. At least, he wasn't someone that an ordinary peak minor saint could compare to. He gritted his teeth and roared. The gloomy slash on his body quickly healed his injuries. At the same time, he turned his head. His pale face was filled with killing intent. Kid, how dare you hurt me? I will make you pay a painful price. The terrifying law on his body spread out, and the whole world turned dark. A cold aura spread out in all directions. Even those who were watching the battle from afar felt a sense of horror. At the same time, those who were at the extraterritorial temple shuddered. What a terrifying gloomy slash. It seemed that Lung Pao was really angry. Could that kid block it? That was the anger of a holy venerate. At this moment, all the people in the world were watching the battle. Gloomy slash. Lung Pao roared. His speed was like a ghost, and he instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian. The gloomy slash in his hand quickly condensed and formed a palm. The gloomy slash on it kept spinning, and it shrouded Lin Xian. This attack was incomparably powerful. Even a holy venerate of the same level wouldn't dare to face it head-on. The surrounding people exclaimed, "He's too strong. No wonder he's a holy venerate." This strength was far from what a minor saint could compare to. Chapter 42-22. Looking at the approaching dark palm, Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Instead of dodging, he made his move. Azure Dragon 9 palms. The roar of a dragon was heard as he threw out a palm strike. The phantom of the Azure Dragon collided violently with his opponent's gloomy palm. Boom. An earth-shattering sound was heard and exploded in the arena. It swept across the 9 heavens and pierced through the sky. The people outside the region screamed. Many of them were sent flying by the force. It was too terrifying. If there was no ancient arena, the world would have been destroyed instantly. So powerful. What's going on with this young man? He can actually fight against a sacred venerable. Has such a heaven-defying genius appeared? Exclamations were heard. Under everyone's shocked gaze, a figure was sent flying. Look, someone is injured. Who is it? They took a closer look and then sucked in a cold breath. Because the person who was sent flying was none other than Lung Pao. After one strike, Lung Pao's dark palm was broken. His palm cracked, and even his bones were exposed. He was sent flying by the force. His face was full of shock. Lung Pao's strength and physique were above his. Impossible. His mind went blank. Lin Xian struck out with his palm, followed by the other 8 strikes. A dragon's roar was heard between heaven and earth. The Azure Dragon 9 palms became stronger as it went on. With every palm strike, Cold Robe's body cracked a little bit. By the 8th palm strike, his body had been completely blown apart. He turned into a bloody mist. No one dared to believe that Coco was a true sacred venerable. The strength of her physique was definitely beyond imagination. Even if a sacred venerable stood there and did not use any techniques, a small saint would not be able to break through their defense. In other words, a small saint would not be able to hurt a sacred venerable without special techniques. That was the difference in strength. But now someone had actually broken through the gap. He had actually defeated a sacred venerable. At this moment, more than a dozen sacred cities and the elders of the top families were all stunned. Countless gazes were looking in their direction. Even the saint kings opened their eyes. Their light transformed into long streaks of light as they looked in their direction. Who is this person? Go and find out. We must get information about him. News came one after another. Above the arena, blood mist filled the air as a soul let out a cold shriek. His soul was hugging a small black bead with a ferocious expression. Damn brat, go to hell. He launched a soul attack. The other party's physical body was strong. However, Xiaoqin was a holy venerate after all. His cultivation was suppressed. Even if the soul of a saint venerable did not specialize in cultivation, it was still much stronger than that of a minor saint. He wanted to use his soul to kill the other party. However, Lin Xian was disdainful. 9 Azure Dragon strikes 9th palm. At the same time, he activated the dragon breathing technique, and the 9th dragon seemed to have been resurrected, transforming into a 9-fold divine dragon. It roared between heaven and earth. That dragon's roar contained an extremely strong power that directly separated the soul of the other party. Under the 9 palms, his opponent's soul was instantly destroyed. Damn it, how dare you! At this moment, a cold roar rang out. At the same time, a terrifying force swept towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian's pupil shrank. Did an expert sneak attack him? A pair of dark golden wings instantly appeared behind his back as he activated the law of wind to the extreme. However, this aura was really too terrifying. His law of wind could not completely leave. What kind of person was he? Lin Xian felt a chill run down his spine. It seemed that he had to activate the void escape and perform a spatial teleportation. He sighed. Did he have to use his trump card so soon? However, at this moment, another cold snort rang out, startling Lin Xian. He did not use the void escape. A ray of light fell and blocked the terrifying impact of the law of wind. Then another cold voice rang out. How dare you? Who allowed you to attack? As a judge, how dare you attack a contestant? Do you want to die? Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lin Xian's figure flashed and directly went to the distance. He was bewildered. At the same time, the surrounding people also exclaimed. Countless eyes looked over. In the next moment, they all saw it. The person who attacked was an old man, and his identity was not ordinary. He was the judge of the arena with a flag on him. What was going on? Why did the judge attack a contestant? Damn it, is there any justice in this world? Cries of surprise rang out. Lin Xian's face also darkened. The Acheron Hall's judge? It seemed that it was related to Cold Robe. Lin Xian turned his head and saw that the person who attacked was an elder from Peerless City. He was also the judge. At this moment, he was the one who saved Lin Xian. The Peerless City's judge said coldly, as a judge, how dare you attack a contestant? You have no right to be a judge. The other people were also discussing spiritedly. Even the elders from the other holy cities were also discussing this matter. That's right. Are there no rules at all? How can we compete in peace like this? I think it's better to set new rules. It was obvious that this was a big matter. If the judge was selfish, it would be extremely disadvantageous for the other holy cities. Therefore, at this moment, no one supported it. The faces of the people from Acheron Hall turned ugly. The elders were also shocked. To be honest, they were also heartbroken that Cold Robe was killed. However, if this matter was not handled well, they would be thoroughly embarrassed this time. If this matter was spread out, no one would look up to Acheron Hall. Even the other holy cities would not be willing to be with them. The Silver Corpse Holy King opened his eyes. He said, "Be quiet. I will handle this matter." He stood up and a Holy King aura spread out in all directions. At this moment, the elders and experts from the other holy cities all quietened down. They all looked at their holy kings. As for the other holy kings, their eyes were cold. It seemed that they were all waiting for the judge to decide. If they were not satisfied, the holy kings would also attack. Elder Cold Robe, do you know the rules of a judge? The Silver Corpse Holy King's cold voice rang out. The elder judge's body trembled. He said, I know, but this kid dared to kill my grandson. The crowd was in an uproar. So this elder was Cold Robe's grandfather. No wonder he attacked so angrily. However, the other party was too despicable. Why couldn't he attack somewhere else? He actually killed Cold Robe in the arena. Moreover, he was a judge. This was something that no one could tolerate. Sure enough, the Silver Corpse Holy King snorted. I don't care what the reason is. Since you chose to be a judge, you have to follow the rules of a judge. If you violate the rules, you will be punished. After saying that, the Silver Corpse Holy King shot out a yellow spring diagram from his eyes and enveloped the elder. The elder's body trembled. He was a middle holy venerate and was extremely powerful outside. However, in front of a holy venerate, he was pitifully weak. He could not even withstand a glance from the holy venerate. He knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing. Holy King, I know I was wrong. Please spare my life. Chapter 42:23. Was he dead? The other spectators felt their scalps go numb when they saw this scene. That was a sacred venerate. A mid-stage sacred venerate. How much did the sacred venerate have to pay to nurture such a person? But now, the sacred venerate was killed just like that. He was really cold and decisive. However, the elders of the other sacred cities were cold and indifferent. This was the only way to let everyone know the rules. As expected, the Silver Corpse Sage King's cold voice rang out. The Tao debate was not a game. Everyone had to follow the rules, especially the elders and judges. They represented not only the sacred cities but also the heavenly Tao. If they couldn't do that, their souls would be destroyed. The other elders all felt their scalps go numb. To be honest, they also had juniors and disciples participating in the competition. They originally wanted to play some tricks, but after seeing this scene, they all forgot about it. How dare they play tricks at this time? They would end up in a terrible state. The competition continued. After the atmosphere froze for a moment, the scene became lively again. After all, every battle was very exciting. Lin Xian once again retreated into the distance and hid in the crowd. A cold smile appeared on his face. Although the Silver Corpse Sage King spoke as if he was the messenger of the heavenly god, Lin Xian knew that the Silver Corpse Sage King was a despicable and shameless person. The Silver Corpse Sage King was able to disregard his status and cultivation to attack a junior like him. He knew how despicable and shameless this person was. Moreover, he also knew that the Silver Corpse Sage King was doing this for the other sacred cities. As for not being allowed to play tricks, what a joke! Previously, the operation against Fu Hongya was a small trick played by the other sacred cities. Moreover, it was not just one operation. Lin Xian observed carefully and realized that every once in a while, an unfamiliar person would make a move. Those people were very powerful. They were all sacred venerates, and they specifically targeted the top geniuses of the other sacred cities. Every time they made a move, their moves were ruthless, and they were usually determined to kill in one strike. Lin Xian knew that these people belonged to different sacred cities. They specialized in hunting down young and promising geniuses. Moreover, many of them succeeded. Once they failed and could not win, these people would immediately give up and leave. This made it impossible for others to do anything. It could be said that he was the Grim Reaper walking in the mortal world. It seemed that he had to be careful, because there was no telling when someone like that would target him. At the same time, the people of the Great Sage City were gathering information. Not only did they have to collect information on some unfamiliar faces, they even began to collect information on Lin Xian. Asked the Silver Corpse Saint King from the Yellow Spring Palace. Have you gathered any information about that brat? A figure appeared and said in a low voice, reporting to the Sacred King, we've collected some. This kid was called Sword Maniac. His background was unknown, and he didn't know which sect he belonged to. However, he was very powerful. After coming to the Heavenly Wind world, he killed the nine-headed Qilin, and then killed many experts from the Great Desolation Mansion. Even a holy venerate had died at his hands. We speculate that he is very likely a holy venerate who is hiding his cultivation. Other than that, he had a good relationship with Deep Sea Palace's Guan Songhai. He had even helped Morong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu. We suspect that he is related to the Wushuang city. Moreover, the super skills that he used were imbued with the sound of dragons. We suspect that he is related to the dragons. Hearing this, the Silver Corpse Saint King's eyes flickered. The surrounding elders furrowed their brows tightly. This person was very strange. Where did he come from? One of the elders said. I guess that he might be a hunter as well. He was secretly trained by the sacred city. Could he be trained by the Wushuang city? It's very likely. Be careful, he might target us next. Sacred King, should we take action? Or should we change our strategy? Said the Wushuang Sacred King coldly. Follow the original plan. Send someone to keep an eye on this brat. I don't care if he is secretly trained by the Wushuang city. I must get rid of him. Once there's a chance, let our hunters go and kill this brat. An operation to target Lin Xian was quietly underway. Lin Xian naturally knew that the other sacred cities would definitely take notice of him after he displayed the strength of a sacred venerate. They might even start to investigate his identity and background. Therefore, he had to take action again to make things more complicated. Next, he would not only target the Acheron Palace and the Great Desolate Mansion, Demon City, Thunder God City, Myriad Sword Pavilion. He would take action against all the sacred cities that had once gone against him. Those who took action were all defeated. As a result, he was very famous now. The sword fanatic's name started to spread. Heavens, what's wrong with this sword fanatic? Why did he take action against so many experts? Do you guys think that he might be a genius secretly nurtured by some power? That shouldn't be the case. Normally, a hunter would have a specific target. It shouldn't be so big. He would definitely incur the wrath of the crowd. Sure enough, everyone was discussing among themselves. Even the people from the Acheron Palace were puzzled. Damn it! Could it be that they guessed wrong? Let's ignore that brat for now, said the Silver Corpse Sacred King coldly. Lung Pao was killed and an elder attacked. This has caused our reputation to fall very quickly. Now no one is optimistic about us. We have to fight a battle to raise the reputation of the Acheron Palace. Yes, we know. This is the arrangement. Those elders nodded quickly. Indeed, they were not ordinary sacred cities. They were the hosts of the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. They were the masters of the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. If they didn't perform well, it would be a slap to their faces. Therefore, they had to win the next battle. Moreover, they had to win beautifully. Soon a young figure walked up. He was from the younger generation. He was not older than 1,500 years old. Moreover, his cultivation had reached the sacred sovereign realm. He was much stronger than Lung Pao. With him taking action, they would definitely win. Moreover, it was a signal. It meant that the Acheron Palace wanted to regain their reputation. The other sacred cities would give them face. Therefore, the people from the Acheron Palace were not too worried. It was Shuang. Many people exclaimed when they saw that person walk out. I know this person. He is very strong. He will definitely win the competition. That's for sure. The Acheron Palace is going to show off. Shuang snorted coldly. His body was emitting the aura of the yellow springs and terrifying blood-red light. He wanted to suppress everyone. However, at this moment, the appearance of a figure caused the atmosphere of the entire scene to become tense again. Many people screamed. Heavens, it can't be. Did I see wrongly? That's right. It's that person. He actually appeared again. Chapter 42-24. Screams could be heard as they realized that Lin Xian had entered the arena again. Shui Ying's face darkened, and so did the people from Acheron Hall. Damn it, it's that brat again. Does he want to die? Some of the elders gritted their teeth in anger. The Silver Corpse Sage King opened his eyes, and there was a murderous intent in his eyes. To go against him, he was courting death. Sage King, don't worry. Shuang was definitely stronger than Lung Pao. Therefore, he would not lose this battle. That is, no one can go against our Yellow Springs Hall. Lin Wudi was such a genius. Wasn't he the same? Had he fallen? Anyone who goes against us will go to hell. Shui Ying's face darkened. Brat, it's you again. Alright, I wanted to kill you anyway. Since you're here, I'll take revenge for Lung Pao. I'll use your blood to pay tribute to his spirit. What's there to pay tribute to a lonely soul? If you're worried, I can send you to hell. Accompany him. Lin Xian sneered. Back then, the Silver Corpse Sage King had tried to kill him. This time he would let the Silver Corpse Sage King know what pain was. He would kill the experts from Acheron Hall one by one. He would let the Silver Corpse Sage King see the geniuses that he had nurtured fall in front of him. What a sharp-tongued brat. I admit that you're powerful. However, Lung Pao lost because he was careless. Moreover, my strength is far above Lung Pao's. You have no chance of winning against me. Is that so? Lin Xian shook his head. You're too arrogant. I wanted to use only one hand, but it seems that I don't need to use that now. The surrounding people were going crazy when they heard this. Using only one hand? What a joke. Shui Ying was famous for his coldness and killing. His reputation was terrifying even among the sage sovereigns. As expected, Shui Ying revealed a cold smile when he heard this. You're really courting death. I don't know what you're relying on, but it's all over now. Boom. A blood-red rainbow instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian. With a palm strike, a blood-red sword slashed down from the sky. The aura emitted from it was extremely cold, causing the eyelids of the surrounding sacred venerates to twitch. Although this blood eagle was less than 1,500 years old, he was even more terrifying than some experts who were more than 2,000 years old. This was a true expert, a genius. Lin Xian struck out with the Azure Dragon Seal to contend with it, and the two collided, tearing apart heaven and earth. Then the two figures quickly retreated. They stood at two different corners of the arena. Lin Xian laughed. You keep saying that you're strong, but from the looks of it, you're just SOSO. He was a little stronger than the cold-robed trash from before, but not by much. Shui Ying's face turned cold. To be honest, he could sense that the other party was not a sacred venerate. However, the other party's physique and strength were not any weaker than a Saint Venerable's. It was strange. He guessed that this kid must have some special body tempering method. Or perhaps it was a special kind of physique. Kid, You must have some special physique and bloodline that can make your physique comparable to a sacred venerable's. It's indeed rare. However, you're still a puny sacred venerable. A true sacred venerable not only had a strong physique, but also had a strong soul, divine ability, and law. Every one of them had surpassed a small saint. So, I'll let you see the power of a true sacred venerable. The law of blood and the law of yellow spring spread out from his body, forming two weapons in his hands. The yellow spring blood spear. The two short spears had a cold sharpness, like the fangs of an ancient savage beast. It was abnormally terrifying. As soon as the two weapons appeared, an extremely terrifying cold storm swept out in all directions. This caused those experts to frown. In the distance, Shen Jingqiu looked at the scene in Wushuang City, and she was also worried. On the other side, Morong Qingqing of Kunlun Pavilion's eyes flickered. Obviously, they all knew how powerful Blood Eagle was. As soon as the short spears appeared, Blood Eagle grasped them. Then his aura became even more terrifying than before. He waved the spears gently. It was as if he had four heavens. The yellow spring gushed out. Under his feet, the water of the yellow spring spread out, completely covering the entire arena. In the next moment, his body merged with the water of the yellow spring, and he appeared behind Lin Xian in an instant. The short spears in his hands stabbed out fiercely. The void was torn apart. This attack was aimed at the back of Lin Xian's heart. If he was stabbed, he would definitely be seriously injured. A pair of dark golden wings appeared behind Lin Xian's back. An endless storm rose up, turning into wind blades and heavenly sabers, slashing towards the space behind him. The void behind him shattered in an instant as he clashed with the other party. A sonorous sound rang out, and endless flames appeared in all directions. Lin Xian used the unique skill of the winged dragons. Coupled with his law of wind, it was truly incomparably sharp. The moment they exchanged blows, it was earth-shattering. With the law of wind and lightning, Lin Xian's speed was extremely fast. On the other side, Shuang was not a speed expert, but with the water of the yellow spring, he could appear anywhere in the yellow spring. It could be said that his movement technique was unpredictable, like a messenger from hell. In an instant, the two of them exchanged hundreds of blows. It was just a matter of a blink of an eye. The surrounding people were shocked. The people of the Acheron Hall were also nervous. Damn it, this person was more powerful than they thought. He wondered if the Blood Eagle would be able to withstand it. This sword maniac was really powerful. He could exchange so many blows with Shuang. This time, he would not create another miracle, right? Discussions broke out one after another. The corner of Guan Kanghai's mouth curled up into a smile when he saw this. Although he had not known Lin Xian for a long time, he knew that Lin Xian's strength was very terrifying. He had even created many miracles. It should not be a problem to defeat Shuang. On the other side, in the space where the limitless sect was, Chao Tiansheng's eyes flickered as he looked into the distance. Let me see how much your strength has grown while you've been gone. Obviously, he already knew Lin Xian's identity. He was looking forward to Lin Xian. On the field, the two of them exchanged blows fiercely. There was not a single space that was intact. Shui Ying's face was completely cold. Not being able to take down his opponent after hundreds of blows was already a slap to his face. He was the truly powerful lord of the great sage, so he was ready to launch a sure-kill attack. Blood Mist, Death of the Yellow Spring. As his voice fell, the law of the yellow spring filled the short spike in his hand, and endless blood flowed out. A terrifying killing intent shook the heavens and the earth. Not good. This was a lost art. The combination of two laws could increase the power of the attack by several times. Perhaps no one of the same level could withstand this attack. At this moment, many people were worried about Lin Xian. Chapter 42-25. Lin Xian's eyes also burst out with a piercing cold light. He took a deep breath, and the great dragon sword soul in his body roared. The dragon's breathing technique was used by him. A terrifying aura filled the air, as if the ancient dragons between heaven and earth had been resurrected. Because the surrounding people felt this aura, all of their expressions changed. Heavens, what a terrifying aura. What kind of bloodline did this kid have? At this moment, the expressions of the people from the three great dragons also changed drastically. They realized that the Dragon Dao aura that Lin Xian displayed was even stronger than before. Could it be that this kid was from the Emperor clan, the nest of 10,000 dragons? Under everyone's shocked gazes, the laws on Lin Xian's body quickly condensed. It formed sword qi, accompanied by a cold voice. Sword kinesis technique. The sword kinesis technique of the sword dragons was already very powerful. At this moment, when it was used by Lin Xian, it was truly terrifying to the extreme. As tens of thousands of sword qi fell, the entire world was completely broken apart. It couldn't withstand those sword qi at all. It collided with the other party's divine ability. A violent explosion sounded, as if tens of thousands of beasts were fighting in the sky. That terrifying aura made everyone's scalp go numb. Even some powerful sacred venerables became incomparably solemn at this moment. So strong, it was simply a battle between dragons and tigers. They didn't know who would win in the end. Discussions sounded one after another. Then they saw two figures emerge from the shattered branches that filled the sky. One was surrounded by sword light, like a sword god, unstoppable. The other was surrounded by the aura of the yellow spring and Shuesha. He kept retreating, shattering the void. Was the blood eagle pushed back? Heavens, he was even injured. Everyone saw that every time Shueying retreated, a crack would appear on his body. Obviously, he was at a disadvantage and was completely suppressed. How was this possible? The eyes of the experts of the Yellow Spring Hall almost popped out. Shueying was an expert that they had carefully selected to turn the tide. But now he was actually suppressed by someone, and it was by that detestable kid from before. It was really hard for them to be confident. Lin Xian looked at the disheveled figure, and a cold smile appeared on his face. You are nothing more than this. The Acheron Palace is nothing more than this. The surrounding people felt as if they had gone crazy. Countless cries of surprise rang out. At this moment, not only the heavenly wind world, but also the surrounding worlds, the outer regions, and even the distant starry skies. In the countless worlds of stars, the people who were watching through the array formations were all stunned. This young man actually dared to say such arrogant words. This was no longer just aimed at Shueying. Instead, it was a slap to the face of the entire Acheron Hall. The other party was provoking the holy city. When the people from the Acheron Hall heard this, their faces turned ashen as their killing intent surged. He wanted nothing more than to rush over and kill the other party. Shueying's face was also ferocious. He would not allow himself to be defeated like this. Roar. With a roar, an extremely cold and gloomy aura emanated from his body. In the next moment, his body began to change. Two types of precepts intertwined on his body. His body was completely enveloped by the picture of the underworld, and became abnormally cold. A pair of blood-red wings appeared on his back. At this moment, it was as if he had really turned into an Azura that had walked out from hell. Brat, you should be proud to be able to make me reach this step. Shueying's voice rang out between heaven and earth. The surrounding people turned serious. Someone exclaimed, could this be the legendary Acheron blood spirit body? This was also a type of super strong physique. It was very famous. Who would have thought that Shueying would be able to refine it? Did he use his final trump card? The people of the Acheron Hall heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like Shueying would not be defeated. Shueying's face was incomparably cold. The killing intent on his body was not concealed at all. How could he possibly lose to a little saint? How could he possibly lose to a little saint? For someone as prideful as him, this was completely unbearable. Therefore, he had to use his final trump card to kill the other party. Oh, a super strong physique? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He indeed felt that the strength of the other party's physique had far surpassed the previous one. However, he did not care at all. Looks like you still haven't given up. Since that's the case, it'll make you truly despair. Speaking of this, Lin Xian's aura changed again. The sword qi disappeared and was replaced by a violent aura. It was as if a supreme king had shrouded the entire area. Next, he was going to use the tiger demon fist. Buzz. Shueying sneered. He stepped on the soles of his feet and soared into the sky, flying forward. After using his super strong physique, he wanted to engage in close combat with the other party. He wanted to tear the other party apart with his own hands. Lin Xian did not dodge and also rushed forward. It seemed like he wanted to engage in close combat. He had never been afraid of anyone when it came to physique. The surrounding people were stunned. It can't be. The two of them want to engage in close combat? Shuang relied on his super strong physique to engage in close combat. That sword maniac should be an expert in the sword Dao. However, his physique should not be too strong in close combat. Is he going to give up his advantage now? Everyone was puzzled. The people of the Acheron Hall also snorted. What a stupid kid. Let's see how he's going to die next. When Shuang saw this, he also smiled coldly. He did not know what was good for him. He stretched out his palm. Acheron palm. The Acheron Dao diagram in his palm flickered continuously. When he struck out with his palm, the powerful force directly pierced through the void. At this moment, the entire world shook violently. Tiger Demon Fist? Lin Xian, on the other hand, let out a roar. His palm suddenly turned black like a black tiger. There were extremely terrifying Dao runes flickering on it. The Tiger Demon Fist came from the mysterious world of Green Hill Cave. Previously, there was a palm that swept through everything. It was extremely powerful. Lin Xian's cultivation of the Tiger Demon Fist should be related to that long black arm. At this moment, his right hand was also incomparably black and emitted a strange light. A ferocious aura of a king emerged from it. The first style of the Tiger Demon Fist, Army Destroyer. When he struck out, it became the only thing in the world. An earth-shattering sound rang out. Everyone was stunned. The scene froze again. The incomparably powerful Shui Ying, who displayed his super strong physique, was penetrated by a punch. After a long time, the crowd exclaimed, "It can't be." Shui Ying's physique was destroyed. It can't be. That's the Acheron blood spirit body. That punch just now was too terrifying. It could definitely destroy a world. What kind of fist technique was that? Exclamations and discussions sounded one after another. Blood Eagle's eyes were wide open. His original arrogance had turned into fear. He had already used his strongest trump card, but he still could not do anything to his opponent. Chapter 42-26. This scene caused an uproar in the world. Those from the Acheron Hall stood up and roared at the sky. Damn it, this is impossible. I don't believe it. They must be crazy. Those around them took a deep breath. It seemed like they had to re-evaluate this person called Sword Maniac. His strength was far beyond their imagination. Lei Shencheng and those from the Myriad Demon City looked solemn, while those from the Great Desolate Mansion looked on with flickering eyes. One of the Taoists looked cold. He was Huang Shisan. He said coldly, "A rising star with decent strength, but he's no match for me. My only opponents are Fu Hongya and a few others." He was extremely domineering. On the other side, Wan Jiani from the Myriad Sword Pavilion was glaring coldly. "Sword Maniac, you better not meet me. Otherwise, I'll let you know who's the real sword expert." Discussions broke out one after another. Those from the Acheron Hall were gritting their teeth so hard that they were about to break. The Silver Corpse Saint King said coldly. His eyes were also filled with killing intent. "Don't bother about this kid. He's too powerful. Someone will kill him sooner or later. Let's adjust our strategy." The elders under him started to adjust their strategy. On the other side, Lin Xian left the arena. He didn't target the Acheron Hall in the next few fights. However, Lei Shencheng and the Myriad Demon City were suppressed. Those who died in Lin Xian's hands were in trouble. Many of them gritted their teeth and wanted to kill Lin Xian. At this moment, the sword qi on Lin Xian's body was getting stronger and stronger. A ray of light fell from the sky like an immortal light. It turned into a scroll with the names of all the participants carved on it. Those who failed turned grayish-white, while the others emitted a golden glow. The ranking was based on the number of victories. The higher the ranking, the more victories one had. Lin Xian, Sword Maniac, was also on the ranking. Countless people looked up to him. Most of those who were ranked at the top were sacred venerables. They were all very powerful sacred venerables. For example, Fu Hongya and the others were at the top of the ranking. Wan Jiani and the others were slightly behind. However, someone exclaimed at this moment, because they realized that another person's name had changed. He had rushed to the top. He had obtained a dazzling result. 9 Qilin. How did his result become so powerful? That's right. He only had 10 hearts previously. Now he had 30 stars. Everyone cried out in surprise. They realized that the 9-headed Qilin had won a match, and that person had 30 stars. He had won 30 matches in a row. 9 Qilin's result. The 30 perfect victories that he represented were all given to the 9-headed Qilin. What's going on? Being able to win 30 matches in a row was enough to show that that person was very powerful. That was definitely a saint venerable. But, to think that he would lose to the 9-headed Qilin. 9 Qilin was a genius, but he was a genius sacred venerables. Could it be that he was also a powerful dark horse? Seeing this, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as a cold smile appeared on his face. The 9-headed Qilin might be strong, but it wasn't his turn to shine in the holy heavens. According to his guess, the person who was fighting with the 9-headed Qilin should be an expert that the demon city had secretly trained. At this moment, this powerful being had purposely given the battle results to the 9-headed Qilin. He wanted to push the 9-headed Qilin to a peak, so that everyone could look up to it. Artificially created battle records? Lin Xian snorted coldly. As expected, some of the holy cities had already begun to use despicable means. The other holy cities naturally understood this point. Hence, after this incident, several holy cities adopted this method. After all, this was the purpose of secretly nurturing people. For example, Wang Jiani had won 2 matches in a row, and the 2 people he had defeated were both record holders of 30 consecutive victories. As a result, he now had a winning streak of 60 matches. His ranking instantly skyrocketed, placing him among the geniuses of the previous generation. In fact, he wasn't too far away from Fu Hongya, Huang Shisan and the others. Countless people started to congratulate him. Many of them laughed and said that the 9th young master was indeed very strong and had unparalleled talent. If this continued, his future achievements would be limitless. That's right. The 9th young master was just a small saint. Once he became a sacred sovereign, his strength would undergo a tremendous change. In the future, we would have to rely on the 9th young master. These people were all followers of the 9th young master. The 9-headed Qilin laughed after hearing this. He was like a supreme immortal god looking down on the world. He made people look up to him. However, at this moment, a cold and mocking voice was heard. Do you really think you're a big shot? Why don't you think about how you got your battle records? Do you have the face to stand in such a position? As soon as the voice was heard, everyone's expression changed. Although they knew that there must be some tricks behind this, they didn't dare to say it out loud. But no one dared to say it out loud. Wouldn't that be slapping the demon city's face? As expected, the faces of the people from the demon city darkened. The 9-headed Qilin snorted coldly. Who dares to talk about me behind my back? Get out here. Let's see if I don't kill you. Is that so? Are you very strong? I'm right here. Try and kill me. On an empty arena, Lin Xian walked up and looked at the 9-headed Qilin. Come on, 9th young master. Your ranking is so high, way higher than mine. I challenge you now. Do you dare? When the surrounding people saw this, they were stunned, because they realized that the person who came up was the sword fanatic. Heavens, is this death god here again? It can't be. Didn't he go against the Acheron Hall previously? Is he here to slap the demon city's face now? Can he really leave alive after offending so many saint cities? You guys don't know this, right? This sword fanatic killed the 9-headed Qilin when he first came to the heavenly wind world. Now he's here purely to suppress the 9-headed Qilin. What? Is there such a thing? The crowd was shocked and started discussing. When the 9-headed Qilin saw the other party, his face turned ugly. Damn it! He would never forget this person. He was the one who killed him. To think that he would dare to come out now. Damn it! The 9-headed Qilin gritted his teeth. The eyes of the other powerful people from the demon city lit up. This is great. This is a good chance. Let's kill him quickly. Some of them stood up. Lin Xian was not afraid. Why, 9-headed Qilin, you don't dare to come out? Since you don't dare, you can kowtow to me and beg for mercy. I'll spare your life if I'm in a good mood. Lin Xian's voice was loud and clear. It spread across the world. Even the people at the extraterritorial stand heard it. They took in a cold breath. That's too arrogant. The nine-headed Qilin snorted and said, Your battle record is too low. I don't want to fight with you. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. My record is low? Yes, I only have a 20-match winning streak now, but so what? This record was won by my own hands, match after match. Among them, I've killed more than 10 Saint Venerables. What about you? What's your battle record? Don't you know how many battles you've won? The person who lost to you is a secret expert that your 1,000-demon city has been nurturing. He pretended to lose to you. Do you really think that you're a peerless expert? Chapter 42:27. Lin Xian's words were filled with disdain. Nine-headed Qilin almost vomited blood when he heard it. The others were shocked when they heard it as well. The people from Demon City snorted. Do you want to die? Well, make sure you die a horrible death today. They were furious because this was something that every holy city had silently agreed to. However, Lin Xian did not know what was good for him. Since he did not follow the rules, there was no need for him to exist. The other experts from the holy city also had cold killing intent in their eyes. They also felt that this was a good opportunity to kill Lin Xian, because his winning streak was not very high. He had only won 20 matches. However, half of them were obtained by killing Saint Sovereigns. This meant that the Saint Sovereigns from the holy city were killed by Lin Xian the moment they attacked. If such a person did not go out, more Saint Sovereigns would fall in the future. The people from Great Desolation Mansion also lost 2 Saint Sovereigns. Hence, their eyes were filled with killing intent. Someone gritted his teeth and said, Send out our hunters to kill this kid. I don't want to see him again. The other elders also nodded. However, at this moment a figure stood out. I don't think we need to do anything. This kid is not ordinary. Let Demon City deal with him. Hearing this, the elders turned their heads. When they saw the figure, they frowned. Nine Nether, this is not your style of speaking. This man was called Nine Nether. He was very powerful. His original form was an earth dragon. He said, I know this person. He is more terrifying than you can imagine. Oh, you know him? Tell us, who is he? These people were shocked. Until now, they still did not know the identity of this sword maniac. Nine Nether said, I don't know who he is, but I have seen him in the Grotto Heaven test. He passed the test and entered the vast Grotto Heaven. He can be said to be a top genius. What? He could enter the secret realm created by the vast Grotto Heaven? The surrounding people were stunned. This secret realm was not a place that ordinary people could enter. Only top geniuses could enter. For example, Nine Nether had entered. No wonder this sword maniac was so terrifying. He was an expert of this level. Some of the elders took a deep breath. If that was the case, it would not be easy to get rid of this sword maniac. At the very least, it had to be an expert at Nine Nether's level, and there was a risk involved. Therefore, they nodded in agreement. All right, well, sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. Let the people from the Myriad Demon City make a move. At the same time, the 10,000 Swords Pavilion Limitless sect and the others also received the news. Among them, one Jiani said, Old Zhang, don't worry. Although he has also joined that Grotto Heaven, I am not afraid. That was because all the top experts had already become Saint Venerables after coming out, but the other party had not. This shows that his talent is no match for mine. Even if he's lucky enough to not die this time, as long as he meets me, he'll definitely lose. On the Demon City's side, Nine Heads Qilin didn't even enter the arena. No matter how arrogant he was, he didn't dare to because he knew that he didn't have the strength to face the other party. Therefore, he would not let the other party continue to live and be arrogant. They sent out a secretly trained expert, who was also a hunter. It was a mysterious figure in a blue robe. He came to the arena, and the blue saber in his hand emitted a piercing light. After coming up, he did not say a word and directly charged towards Lin Xian. With a slash of the saber, the terrifying laws were vast and mighty. It was like a vast ocean, causing the wind and clouds in all directions to change. What a terrifying saber technique. The surrounding spectators' expressions changed when they sensed the terror of this saber. Obviously, this was also an expert, and a Saint Venerable expert at that. Lin Xian sneered. Nine-headed Qilin, you're really useless. You don't even have the courage to come up. Forget it, then you're not worthy of being my opponent at all. As for this person, he should be a hunter from the myriad demon city. You want to kill me? But that's impossible. He snorted coldly. Thunder surged from his body and surged over from all directions, turning into a huge thunder tiger. It stood indomitable and charged towards the saber light in the sky. As soon as he came up, he used the tiger demon fist. Boom. A terrifying aura erupted. The battle between the two was extremely terrifying. The saber light collided with the phantom of the demonic tiger, tearing apart the 9 heavens and 10 earths. In the next moment, the saber directly split the phantom of the tiger, and then fiercely slashed towards Lin Xian. This person is so terrifying. His strength is above the sword fanatics. It's over. It seems that this sword fanatic is really in danger this time. That's for sure. He recklessly went against the sacred city. His ending will definitely be very miserable. Everyone was discussing animatedly. Lin Xian sneered. Did they send out an even stronger person? He clenched the tiger demon fist and quickly rushed forward. Boom. 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 The army destroyer struck out, causing heaven and earth to tremble. It directly shattered that ray of light. Then he charged forward and continuously collided with the opponent's saber. Every collision. It was like a lightning tribulation. The killing intent in the blue-robed man's eyes was really terrifying. His saber technique was extremely terrifying. Every slash could split open a world. He and Lin Xian entered the battle. The two of them exchanged more than 30 moves, and they were evenly matched. Suddenly, at this moment, the blue-robed man revealed a sinister smile and changed his saber technique. Endless blue laws erupted from his saber technique and swept towards Lin Xian. See Demon Saber. As his cold voice fell, a blue saber light slashed down from the sky. When it came to Lin Xian's side, it suddenly split open. The violent aura of destruction filled heaven and earth. At this moment, countless large cracks appeared in the entire world and spread towards the surroundings. What a terrifying destructive power. This was a slash of destruction. Countless people gasped. They felt that the sword fanatic couldn't block this attack at all. Morong Qingqing and the others were also nervous. Damn it, the speed of the change of this saber was really beyond everyone's expectations. Even Guan Songhai revealed a look of worry. On the other side, Nine Nether, Wan Jiani, and the others revealed a cold smile. It should be settled. As expected, he couldn't be compared to them. Chao Tianxing looked at this scene calmly. The blue storm in front of him gradually disappeared. In the next moment, countless cracks appeared. However, Lin Xian's figure had already disappeared. The surrounding people were shocked when they saw this scene. Could it be that he was killed? The beasts of the monster city also snorted coldly. Needless to say, he must have been killed. Moreover, his heart and soul were destroyed. Not even a drop of blood was left. This was the result of going against the monster city. Countless people's faces instantly turned pale. He was too strong. The strength of the holy city wasn't something that a single person could provoke. Chapter 42-28. Is it over? How pitifully weak. Unable to withstand a single blow. The blue-robed man sneered as he sheathed his saber. He turned around to leave, but he was stunned the next moment. The reason for that was because he could sense a strange energy appearing in the air. The smiles of the people around him froze. What's going on? What's that energy? They looked around frantically, and they saw a bolt of lightning tearing through the void and walking out from the spatial crack. A dragon's roar that made people tremble rang out. At the same time, there was a cold voice. The show has just begun, and you want to leave already? How is that possible? Countless people looked at the scene dumbfounded. The people of Demon City exclaimed, "It's that kid, he's still alive. No way, the Saint Sovereign would have died from that attack. How could he have survived? That energy is the energy of a dragon. Could he be one of the Dragon Clan's people? What's going on?" The people around them discussed among themselves, and many of them looked at the Dragon Clan in the distance. The 3 Dragons Clan's people also had strange expressions on their faces. To be honest, they did not know who the other party was. However, they did not believe that such an attack could kill the sword maniac. After all, this guy had obtained the blue dragon horn. Is he still alive? Even many of the saint rulers were shocked. To be honest, they had made a mistake in their judgment. What a mysterious person. Lua Sage King was shocked. Silver Corpse Sage King's face turned cold. Sky Soaring Sage King's face also darkened. He transmitted his voice and gave the order to kill. On the other side, Peerless Sage King smiled. He now knew who the person was. Sure enough, his junior brother still came. He did not immediately reveal his true identity, but hid himself to fight against the Sage Kings. Interesting, it's getting more and more interesting. He's still alive? Wan Jiani 9 Nether, and the others' faces turned ugly. Damn it, they had mocked the other party for being weak and unworthy of being their opponent. But now they had made a mistake in their judgment. It was a slap to their faces. This made them very unhappy. The blue-robed man's eyes narrowed. He was very confident in the power of his attack. He didn't believe that there was anyone who could stop him. Even if there was, it couldn't be the person in front of him. However, the other party had survived, and the aura on his body had become even more tyrannical than before. Could it be that the other party wasn't injured before? When he thought of this possibility, his heart was in turmoil. Could it be that he had a top-grade saint artifact for defense? Damn brat. What did you do just now? Was it a Saint King level weapon? You're cheating. The blue-robed man let out a roar, and the others were also in an uproar. The eyes of the people from the demon city lit up. Yes, that's right, he was cheating. He was asking the referee elder to probe his defense. When these words were spoken, everyone was shocked. Could it be that the other party had really used a Saint King level weapon to defend himself? Hearing this, Lin Xian laughed. I cheated? Truly despicable and shameless. It's fine if your myriad demon city is despicable, but now you actually want to pour dirty water on me. Very well, the 3 judging elders, please. In the sky, 3 elders appeared, and they were divided into 3 sides. Their expressions were incomparably cold. To be honest, they were still very resistant towards Lin Xian. After all, one of the judging elders had already been killed because of Lin Xian. Therefore, when facing the other party, they were very careful. Lin Xian said, Dare I ask the 3 judging elders? Just now, did you sense a Saint King level aura? The 3 of them looked at each other, and then one of the elders said coldly, We didn't sense it. The other 2 nodded. We also didn't sense a Saint King level aura. Thank you for upholding justice, Lin Xian said with a fist and palm salute. Then he revealed a smile. You heard it, I didn't use any Saint King level saint artifacts. You're just too confident in yourself. You think you can hurt me with your strength? What a joke. I'm not someone you can imagine. Lin Xian's eyes revealed a hint of arrogance. This scene made the blue-robed man vomit blood. Damn it, how could it be? Was the other party's strength already so strong? Damn it, I don't believe it. Blue Ocean One Blade. The blue-robed man slashed out with his long blade. With a clang, between heaven and earth, crazy laws descended. It turned into an even more frightening blade light. Earlier, it had been a destructive blade light. However, at that moment, it was extremely sharp. It was capable of slicing anything in half. Lin Xian snorted and stretched out his palm. It turned black again. Tiger Demon Fist second style sky shattering. As soon as his voice fell, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Countless large cracks spread out in all directions with him as the center. It was as if the world was about to end. This scene was really too terrifying. It was even more terrifying than the previous blade. Suddenly, the blue blade light in the sky was enveloped by the cracks, and there was a cracking sound. Then it was torn apart. Was the peerless blade broken? Countless people were in an uproar. No one expected Lin Xian to be so strong after showing his true strength. How could it be? I must be dreaming. The blue-robed man's pupils shrank. He knew the power of the blade. Even if Lin Xian could block it, he would be injured. However, the other party had easily broken through this set. Why? Are you shocked? Surprised? Lin Xian sneered. Don't worry, the more shocking part is yet to come. At this point he took a deep breath and threw out a punch. Tiger Demon Fist, third style, soul suppression. Another punch was thrown out. The black fist seemed to have turned into a black tiger. It roared between heaven and earth, and the aura it emitted distorted the void. Feeling the terrifying power surging towards him, the blue-robed man's pupils shrank. The blue-robed man's pupils shrank. Damn it. He frantically retreated, but discovered that it was already too late. He could only passively block and use the long blade in his hand to the extreme. Streaks of terrifying saber light shot out one after another. Every single one of them was as terrifying as heavenly thunder. There were tens of thousands of them in the sky, dancing wildly and slashing towards the sky. The momentum was mighty. It was incomparable. I don't believe that I can't cut it. He roared at the sky. At this moment, it was as if he wanted to open the sky. Boom, boom, boom. However, the tiger demon fist was really too terrifying. It could really suppress everything. The blade lights that filled the sky were all shattered. A shadow of a ferocious tiger pressed down on the blue-robed man. No. The blue-robed man's pupils shrank. He wanted to escape, but it was too late. In the next moment, he was enveloped by the tiger phantom. Boom. The entire ancient arena let out a violent roar. Countless cracks appeared around the arena and spread towards the surroundings. At this moment, the arena was almost split apart, but it endured in the end. The surrounding people were blasted away by the nomological storm. They all held up their holy domains and frantically resisted. Chapter 42-29. When everything disappeared, everyone looked carefully. In the next moment, they saw that there was at least a shadow of a black tiger that suppressed everything. Below it was a seahorse that was close to 1,000 meters long. At this moment it was crushed into two halves. Blue blood dyed the ground red. The blue-robed man's true form was actually a seahorse. It was unbelievable. Damn it, how could it be? The people of Demon City looked terrible. Many of them stood up and roared crazily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. What, you finally showed your true form? You still dare to say that you're not from Demon City? Damn it. The seahorse kept roaring and trying to break free from the seal. However, it was suppressed. The people of Demon City were also roaring. Damn it, let go of him. Lin Xian glanced at them and said, So you admit that he's from Demon City? The people around were also shocked. That's not right. This guy didn't come from Demon City. I remember that he walked out from the crowd. Yeah, he didn't emit any demonic aura from the beginning. He hid it well. I thought that he was a human expert. That means that he's really from Demon City. And it seems that he was secretly trained. Demon City actually hid such an expert. What's their purpose? Could it be that he's really a legendary hunter? Exclamations and discussions could be heard. The people of Demon City looked terrible. They all came back. An elder snorted coldly. He told the young geniuses to shut up. They were so angry that they gritted their teeth. On the other hand, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Why aren't you roaring anymore? Don't you want to save his life? Kid, what are you trying to do? Finally, an elder stood up and said coldly. Lin Xian said, It's simple. I just want to know what's the relationship between him and Demon City. Alright, I can tell you that he's from Demon City. However, we didn't plan to let him participate. So he hid his identity and came here secretly. We didn't know about it before. Now that I've told you his identity, you can let him go. As soon as these words were spoken, the surrounding people were in an uproar. This person really was an expert from the Demon City. Lin Xian chuckled when he heard this. Very good, he finally admitted it. He waved his hand, and the black tiger phantom roared and tore the seahorse's body into pieces. Even its soul was swallowed by the tiger. The enormous body shattered and disappeared. Damn it, you actually dared to kill him. The elder of the 1,000 Demon City was furious, and his body emitted boundless cold killing intent. Lin Xian sneered. Why wouldn't I dare? He killed me, so why wouldn't I kill him? Did I promise you that I wouldn't kill him? Damn, the 1,000 Demon City elder was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He realized that Lin Fan really didn't say anything, which meant that he had been conned. Damn brat, just you wait. If there's a chance, I definitely won't let you off. Are you threatening me? Very well, I'm going to go against you guys today. If any of you from the 10,000 goblins dare to come out, I will kill you. I want to see what qualifications you have to threaten me today. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold killing intent. The Soaring Sky Saint King was one of the people who had participated in the hunt for him back then. How could he let the 1,000 Demon City off? Lin Xian's voice was incomparably cold, causing everyone's scalps to go numb. The Thousand Demon City elder snorted coldly. How could this brat control the competition? Therefore, they did not care about this at all. However, they soon realized that they had been mistaken. The other party had grasped the laws of wind and thunder, and his speed was extremely fast. No matter who it was, as long as it was someone from the Thousand Demon City, the other party would immediately enter the arena and kill his opponents with the fastest speed possible. Just like that, in the blink of an eye, 8 experts from the Thousand Demon City had died in the hands of the other party. Among them, there were even 2 saints. This caused the Thousand Demon City to go crazy, and their hearts to bleed. The soaring sky Saint King's eyes shone with a sharp blade light as he glared at Lin Xian. The void around Lin Xian was shattering continuously. He could feel the might of the Saint King. What? The Saint King wants to strike? Bring it on. Didn't you 3 great sage kings join forces to kill Lin Wudi before? Since you can kill a genius once, you can continue to do whatever you want. Lin Xian's voice resonated throughout the entire universe. Come at me. Lin Xian's voice resonated throughout the universe. The soaring sky Saint King's face turned cold. He snorted coldly and retracted his gaze. On the other side, the silver corpse Saint King's face was also ugly. Damn it. I can't let him continue to be arrogant. Old Zhang from the Thousand Demon City gritted his teeth. They asked who had the confidence to kill him. Everyone thought about it and shook their heads. To be honest, they did not have the confidence. However, at this moment, a figure walked out. Oh, kill him. This person's voice was abnormally strong and carried a terrifying power. This was a demonic ape, an earth demonic ape. It had boundless strength and was a mutated species of heaven and earth. His strength had reached the level of a saint. The soaring sky Saint King frowned slightly. According to the information we just received, this person is very strong. He had joined the Grotto Heavens test and even succeeded. I'm afraid his strength is not weaker than Wan Jiani and the others. Hearing this, the surrounding elders of the Thousand Demon City sucked in a breath of cold air. Was the other party so strong? No wonder he could kill so many experts. The earth demonic ape frowned as well. However, he still said, I have some confidence. After knowing that Lin Xian's situation was so terrifying, this fellow still wanted to make a move. One could imagine how terrifying his strength was. However, the Sage King shook his head. Don't make a move first. There's no need to reveal our trump cards in advance for this fellow. Let's wait. Following this, the Thousand Demon City's side actually did not send out anyone. This truly shocked everyone. Could it be that the Thousand Demon City was afraid? One person was actually suppressing a saint city. If they did not see it with their own eyes, they would not believe it. Lin Xian also did not make a move. He even stared at the Thousand Demon City's side. As long as the other party made a move, he would immediately make a move. Being entangled by such a person, the Thousand Demon City felt very sullen. They were probably already the laughingstock of the world. Damn it. Those people gritted their teeth. The soaring sky Saint King's eyes were also cold. To be honest, he thought that the other party would tactfully leave to provoke the other saint cities. That way they could send out people to fight. However, it seemed like the other party was really going against them. He did not participate in any battles and only stared at them. It was useless no matter what he did. He really did not know what was good for him. Then I'll play with him. The soaring sky Saint King coldly snorted. He called Sikong Lai over and let him go. Hearing this, the elders were stunned. Was the Sage King going to use his trump card? No matter, he had to use it anyway. This matter was also a difficult opponent. It was best to let Sikong Lai take action. This way, the world would know the consequences of offending the Thousand Demon City. Those elders nodded. Then they opened a spatial gate and walked in. Not long after, they came out. A young man followed behind them. This person had a pale face and wore a black robe. He had a cold smile on his face. His long and narrow eyes shone brightly. Is it my turn to go on stage so soon? Chapter 42:30. This time, there's a reckless guy who dares to provoke us. He has already killed many saint sovereigns, and has set his eyes on us. He has disgraced our sacred city. Go down and kill him. Hearing this, Sikong Lai was stunned. There's such a guy? Who is it? Fu Hongye, Huang Shisan? He frowned slightly. In his opinion, only such a person could give the sacred city such a headache. However, the elders shook their heads slightly. No, it's not him. That guy. He pointed at a figure in the distance. So young? Sikong Lai frowned slightly. The next moment, he was even more stunned. Old man, are you sure? This guy isn't even a saint sovereign. Indeed he isn't. However, he has already killed 4 of our saint sovereigns and 10 peak minor saints. All of them died in his hands. Do you think he's weak? Sikong Lai took a deep breath. He's so powerful. I finally know why I summoned him. I know. Leave it to me. Sikong Lai nodded. The next moment he floated forward. Look, someone from the demon city has come out again. It seems like they're not going to tolerate it anymore. Countless people exclaimed. Everyone's gazes shifted over. Lin Xian also flew up. Again? Is he courting death? He landed on the arena, looked at the figure in front of him and shook his head. Get lost. You're too young. You're no match for me. Kid, you're very arrogant. No one has ever dared to talk to me like that. However, you're too reckless. You'll die if I attack you. Then he rushed forward. Lin Xian snorted and threw out a punch. It directly enveloped Sikong Lai. The next moment, a thunderous sound was heard. Sikong Lai's body was blasted away. It can't be. He's killed in one move. The surrounding people were stunned. What's the demon city doing? Why did they send such a weak person? Could it be that they were planning to wear down the sword fanatic by taking turns to tire him out? The surrounding people were also discussing. Lin Xian was also stunned. It shouldn't be. What the hell is the demon city doing? The next moment he was stunned. The others exclaimed. Look, what's that? They saw that the body that had been split into 4 pieces did not die. Instead, it quickly reassembled, and then 4 figures stood up. Every one of them looked like Space-Time Hunter, and the other party had actually split into 4. Was it a doppelganger? Many people cried out in alarm. This wouldn't do either. This type of doppelganger couldn't be resisted at all. After the 4 of them came out in an instant, they charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian coldly snorted and threw out another punch. However, in the next moment he was surprised to find that the strength of these 4 people was actually the same, blocking his attack. However, his power erupted and blasted the 4 of them away once again. This time even more figures stood out. 4 of them were split in half. In other words, all 8 of them stood up. What was going on? A few holy city elders cried out in alarm. This wasn't a clone, but rather a split. Every time his body was destroyed, he would be able to form a completely new body. Could it be that he was the Spacebreaker beast? When these words were spoken, the other elders were also shocked. They had long heard that there were thousands of demons in the Thousand Demon City, and it was incomparably strange. There was a type of demon beast that had this kind of splitting ability, called the Spacebreaker beast. Now it seemed that it was this person. The Spacebreaker beast could form a new body when its body was injured. It was simply immortal and indestructible. Indeed, it was basically impossible to kill it. As long as a bit of its flesh and blood was left, it could fully grow and instantly recover. Unless one's strength surpassed everything and could destroy the Spacebreaker beast completely, not leaving a single drop of blood. However, in order to do this, one had to be an extremely terrifying existence. At least a peak Saint Venerable or Saint King. It was impossible for such a person to appear on this battlefield. For a moment, everyone cried out in alarm, not knowing how Lin Xian was going to block it. Lin Xian also frowned. A Spacebreaker beast, huh? The other party's bloodline was really strange. Sikong Lai revealed a smile and said, Useless brat, this will only increase my strength. Is that so? Of the 8 of you, one must be the main body, right? If I kill your main body, won't you die without a doubt? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a trace of shocking light. In the next moment his gaze became dim. However, he soon discovered that the 8 of them did not have a main body at all. Their main bodies and clones were all the same. This made him frown. Were they all the same? Were there really no clones? Sikong Lai, who was opposite him, laughed loudly. How could this brat have already found out? Indeed, any one of me can be the main body. What can you use to kill me? Everyone was stunned when they heard this. He was too strong. He was really immortal and indestructible. How could there be such an existence? Unless there was a heaven-defying difference in cultivation. However, Space-Time Lai was a saint venerable, and Lin Xian was only a small saint. The difference between the two of them could not be made up. Now that he had such a bloodline, it was impossible to defeat him. It seemed that the sword maniac had really lost this time. Yes, but with the sword maniac's strength, it was still possible for him to escape now. However, failure was inevitable. With this failure, the sword maniac would have the space breaker beast to hunt him down in the future. He would soon be eliminated. Discussions sounded one after another. They did not expect the tables to turn. The sword maniac fell into a predicament so quickly. However, they still underestimated the determination of the Demon City. Not only did they want Lin Xian to fail, but they also wanted to kill Lin Xian completely. In the arena, 8 spacetime hunters took action, attacking Lin Xian from 8 directions. Lin Xian quickly dodged. However, 8 against 1, he could not dodge in the end. He could not easily use the void escape. So he had no choice but to slap out with his palm. The Azure Dragon seal instantly sent a few of them flying, and new people appeared from the broken bodies. In the end, there were already hundreds of figures standing in the arena. Each of their auras was incomparably strong. It made people's scalps tingle. The more they fought, the stronger they became. How could they fight? Boy, tremble and despair. This is the result of daring to go against the Demon City. The space-time hunters walked over with a sinister smile. More than 100 figures covered the sky and earth. Lin Xian's expression was cold. Kill. With a roar, he formed a seal with his palm. Between heaven and earth, thunder filled the air, completely enveloping the entire space. He did not believe that he could not kill his opponent this time. The people who were pierced by the thunder quickly changed, and in the end, there were more than 10 million of them. Damn it, even the thunder could not kill them. Lin Xian's face was completely gloomy. Now it seemed that only the power of the great dragon sword soul could be used. However, if he could not hit them in one strike, it would be useless. After all, any body could continue to split, which meant that he had to think of a way. He had to catch them all in one fell swoop. Otherwise, he would be in danger. Chapter 4231. In everyone's opinion, Lin Xian was doomed. In fact, Lin Xian had indeed fallen into an extremely dangerous situation. However, he did not panic. At this moment, he was accumulating his strength. He wanted to defeat all of his opponents in one fell swoop. Facing thousands of figures, he fought and retreated. It seemed that he could not hold on any longer. However, a trace of golden light flickered in his eyes. He was using his ocular technique, but he was secretly using it. Moreover, it was not very powerful. He wanted to subtly influence his opponent's soul, and not let him discover it. Now that his opponent had the upper hand, he must be very arrogant. He wanted to make use of this point to make the other party arrogant to the extreme. He wanted to make his opponent completely crazy. As expected, seeing Lin Xian retreating, Xikong Lai's lips curled into a sinister smile. Kid, go to hell. Thousands of figures all rushed over, completely enveloping Lin Xian. The entire arena was also completely covered. These figures seemed to have turned into locusts, lying on Lin Xian's body, and began to madly absorb Lin Xian's power to strengthen these figures. Lin Xian could not move. He could feel his power draining away, but he smiled. Great, it's finally working. These people all rushed over without a care for anything else. In the next moment, the light flickered. The great dragon sword soul roared and countless sword chi formed a sword Dao world. It directly enveloped these people completely. In an instant, those figures were attacked and their bodies cracked. However, the sinister voice said, "It's useless. You can't kill me. You'll only make me more and more." Lin Xian did not say anything. He activated the great attack sword soul with all his strength and slashed wildly. Gradually, Spacetime Hunter's expression changed. Damn it, what's going on? He found that his figure had fallen into a pool of blood. Before he could reform a new body, he was destroyed again. Moreover, these sword chi carried a biting cold aura that prevented those wounds from healing. He found that his figure was gradually decreasing. Damn it, His opponent still had such a biting cold sword chi. He wanted to retreat. However, he found that the entire Sword Dao world had already enveloped everything. He had no way out. What shocked him even more was that his entire body had entered the sword to the world. Not a single part of him was left behind. How could this be? He couldn't believe it. No matter how arrogant he was, he would still be careful and leave one of them outside just in case. But now he didn't stay. This was too surprising. Damn it, what's going on? When he saw the strange light in Lin Xian's eyes, he knew he was in trouble. You used an eye technique on me. That's right. Looks like you're not that stupid. I did use an eye technique on you. Therefore, you won't be able to escape. Damn it, I'll fight you to the death. Spacetime Hunter roared. Since he had no way out, he could only fight with his back against the wall. Countless terrifying laws appeared on his body, and the remaining figures charged over together. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Everything was over. Endless sword chi exploded. And everything was over very quickly. Everyone was wiped out, and their blood was wiped out by him. Not a single drop of blood flowed out. At this moment, the terrifying space breaker beast was completely slain by him. The spectators outside were also stunned when they saw this scene. They only saw countless figures pouncing toward Lin Xian. And then sword chi surged out of Lin Xian's body, completely enveloping the entire arena. After that, they couldn't see anything. What kind of battle had happened? How was it? The people from the demon city sneered. How dare you question the strength of the lashing spacebreaker beast? You really don't know what's good for you. Indeed, they weren't worried at all. Only those old monsters could kill the lashing spacebreaker beast. No one in the younger generation could do it. But when the sword chi that filled the sky disappeared, the surrounding people were stunned. What was going on? They found that there was only one person in the arena, and that was Lin Xian. Spacetime rift, then where did he go? No way, did he hide? Exclamations rang out. The people from the demon city were also shocked and doubtful. They roared, "Kid, where did you take Sikong Lai?" Hearing this, Lin Xian smiled. He had already been sent to hell. What? That's impossible. Everyone was stunned. The people from the demon city were even more shocked. Soaring Sky Saint King also opened his eyes. His gaze was rarely seen in all directions as a huge soul pressure pressed down on them. It seemed that he was searching, but not long after, his expression became incomparably ugly. What was going on? He really couldn't sense Spacetime Lai's aura. Could it be that he was really killed by him? The three referee elders also descended from the sky and began to search the surroundings. Then they said that Spacetime Lai's life was unknown. This battle was won by the sword maniac. His life was unknown. Everyone gasped. That was a space breaker beast. It could split into countless bodies. How could he disappear? Now that he wasn't here, there was only one possibility, and that was that he had been killed. Not even a drop of blood was left. Thinking of this possibility, everyone's scalps went numb. What kind of method did this sword maniac use to be so powerful? Great! Murong Qingqing, Shen Jingqiu, and the others all heaved a sigh of relief. Wang Jianyi also frowned. The other party's sword chi was so strange. As an expert of the sword Dao, he felt a sense of threat. The people of Demon City were completely stunned. I'll fight it out with you. Many people rushed out. Lin Xian sneered. Fine, I'll send you to hell together. These people stopped in midair. They didn't dare to fight with the other party at all. For a moment, they couldn't advance or retreat. They were in an abnormally sorry state. A bunch of trash. You don't even have the courage to fight with me. Get lost. Lin Xian roared and looked disdainfully at the surroundings. Everyone returned. Flying Sky Saint King coldly shouted. All the people of Demon City had returned. After that, they didn't make another move because this time, they were truly frightened. Originally, even the Divine King thought that the Spacebreaker Beast's attack was absolutely foolproof. But now, the Spacebreaker Beast was actually killed. Were they going to send out a stronger trump card? They weren't confident. So for a period of time, the people of Demon City seemed to be asleep. No one spoke and no one attacked. A man and a sword suppressed Shen Cheng's head. This was probably the first time in history. The surrounding Demon City's people also had solemn expressions. Until now, they still didn't know which faction this person belonged to. However, the other party's methods were too terrifying. Demon City was actually afraid of him. As for the other Demon City's people, many of them also died in the hands of the other party. However, everyone realized that the other party didn't attack all the Demon City's people. Instead, he attacked a few Demon City's people. Could it be that this person had a grudge with those Demon City's people? In an instant, they thought of a possibility. Chapter 4232. Could it be that this matter was really related to Peerless City? Everyone started guessing. Wuxia City dares to go against us? The Acheron Palace's Silver Corpse Sage King received the news, and his eyes flashed coldly. Looks like it's time for us to send our hunters to teach Wuxia City a lesson. They sent out their own hunters. Even the Great Desolate Mansion sent out their hunters. In an instant, these hunters moved in the dark, keeping an eye on Wuxia City. Soon someone exclaimed. Wuxia City also felt the pressure. People like Shirbufan and Wang Xiaofeng from Stillwater Sky City were being hunted. Retreat quickly. Fu Hongye shouted coldly, telling them not to fight back. These people had no choice but to retreat. Even Ghostly was severely injured by a slash. In an instant, countless people were in an uproar. They could see that someone was targeting Wuxia City. Lin Xian naturally saw it too. A cold murderous intent appeared in his eyes. These people were so reckless. It seemed like he had to continue. But before that, he had to do something because he had killed a lot of people. Therefore, at this moment, he had a lot of winning streaks. He had won 50 matches in a row. This was an equally dazzling record. So once he appeared, he would be targeted by countless people. Although he was confident in himself, this was a Dao debate after all. There might be a terrifying expert. So Lin Xian decided to give away his winning streak first. Lin Xian's eyes flashed, waiting for an opportunity. Soon he sent a message to Morong Qingcheng. Morong Qingcheng smiled and walked down while Lin Xian went up. In the surroundings, those people were all stupefied when they saw this. It couldn't be, right? This guy was actually going to make a move against the favored daughter of heaven? Even the people from Demon City were stunned. This guy was going to attack Kunlun Pavilion? It shouldn't be. Wasn't he from Wuxia City? Could it be that their judgment was wrong? The people from Kunlun Pavilion were also stunned. But soon, they widened their eyes in disbelief. After Lin Xian went up, he said calmly, "So it's Fairy Morong. I've heard of your name. Now that I've met you, you're really amazing. I hope that Fairy will show mercy." Morong Qingcheng threw out a palm strike. Lin Xian didn't resist and immediately retreated. Fairy's palm strength is so good that I am ashamed of my inferiority. Then he turned around and walked down the arena. Everyone was dumbfounded, and I cursed the heavens. What was the meaning of this? Was he admitting defeat just like that? Damn it, he was giving away his winning streak. Some of the sacred cities instantly understood what was going on, and they gnashed their teeth in anger. They couldn't say anything. They were willing to do this kind of thing. Moreover, Lin Xian made them vomit blood. Lin Xian said, "I learned it from Wan Yaocheng." The people from the Demon City were about to go mad with anger. Just like that, Morong Qingcheng obtained Lin Xian's 50-match winning streak and instantly entered the 100-match winning streak. This was a very difficult task. After all, everyone here was an expert and a genius. A 50-match winning streak was already heaven-defying. A 200-match winning streak could be said to be a legend. At this moment, Morong Qingcheng completed a 100-match winning streak. She was the first to do so. In an instant, countless people looked up to her. Damn it, we have to speed up. Wan Jianyi too, hurry up and get the hunters to come back and give him his winning streak. He also wanted to achieve a 100-match winning streak. The Great Desolate Mansion, Lei Shencheng, and Acheron Hall were the same. The battles became even more intense. Lin Xian didn't have any more winning streaks. His eyes shone with a cold light. Very good, it was time to start hunting again. This time his target was Acheron Hall. This time he was going to beat Acheron Hall into submission. Morong Qingcheng returned to the place where the Kunlun Pavilion was located with 100 consecutive victories. The elders of Kunlun Pavilion were also confused. Qingcheng, do you know that person? To be honest, They naturally knew that they were giving away their winning streaks. Morong Qingqing smiled and said, "Maybe I know him." The elders of Kunlun Pavilion didn't ask further. After all, it was a good thing for them. On the other side, the people of Wushuang City were also surprised. Who is this person? Why do I feel that he is on our side? Wushuang Sage also smiled mysteriously. He didn't say anything because he felt that it wasn't the right time yet. However, when he looked down, he frowned. He said, "You guys should pay attention. The hunters from Sacred City have already made their move. If you encounter an extremely strong enemy, you must protect yourself. Losing 1 or 2 matches isn't scary." The people of Wushuang City also looked serious. Indeed, they had suffered a fierce attack previously. Some of the genius disciples of the 3rd generation had also lost. Even some of the disciples of the 2nd generation had been affected. At this moment, an earth-shattering sound suddenly erupted from the distant battlefield. Terrifying energy swept out in all directions. It attracted everyone's attention. When the people of Wushuang City saw this, their faces changed. Not good, it's junior sister Shun. Damn it, are these people attacking again? They realized that an extremely cold aura had suddenly exploded from the battlefield where Shen Jingqiu was. 2 white bone claws covered the sky and covered the earth. They could tear everything apart as they suppressed Shen Jingqiu. Junior sister Shun was in danger. Fu Hongye and the others' eyes instantly turned red. They had already lost Lin Xian. They couldn't let Shen Jingqiu be in danger. In an instant, they rushed to the side, but they couldn't enter the arena. After all, there were rules in the competition. Lin Xian naturally noticed this scene. He was still thinking about who to attack, but now he saw someone attacking Shen Jingqiu. A cold murderous intent appeared in his eyes as he walked closer. The person who was attacking Shen Jingqiu was extremely skinny. He looked like a skeleton. At this moment, 2 white bone claws appeared. They had a cold aura that drowned everything. This person was so strong. Countless people were shocked. They didn't expect such a terrifying expert to be hidden in this battlefield. Lin Xian also frowned. Indeed, this person was much stronger than the average sacred artifact. Moreover, he was using a secret technique. He could feel that this person was crazy. He didn't hesitate to destroy his own foundation to attack Shen Jingqiu. In the sky, 4 white bone claws appeared at the same time and forced Shen Jingqiu back. The terrifying power made people's hearts palpitate. Shen Jingqiu steadied herself. There was a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth, but a Dharma appearance appeared behind her. It was surrounded by chains of the great Tao. It was as if an ancient deity had been resurrected. This battle had attracted the attention of countless elders in the holy city. Even the saint rulers had opened their eyes. They stared at the Dharma appearance that day. Many of them were puzzled. Over at the Acheron Hall, the Silver Corpse Sage King's eyes lit up. She was indeed mysterious to be able to summon such a phenomenon. From the looks of it, her fortuitous encounter was not small. However, it was a pity that she was going to lose this time. Lin Wudi was already dead. There was no need for anyone related to Lin Wudi to live in this world. They could all go to hell. In the arena, the white bone claws shone again. Blood dripped from the corner of the skinny man's mouth. His body was swaying. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.